These rules were done by Robin Laws, along with Greg Stafford, and weirdly published by Steve Jackson Games, despite being by Isseries. It's a bit different to your normal fantasy role-playing in that it is much more mythological and set kind of much further back in time. So we're talking Iron Age for the most part. There are some towns, there are some cities, but a lot of people are living relatively primitive lives. Omens are meaningful. The gods are always watching. Spirituality is very important, and it's important to have that kind of mindset going into the game, I think, because if you do things like make offerings to the gods, that will be reflected in the game. So HeroQuest is a D20 based system, but anything can be a trait. So, and those traits either have a value or a bonus. So you might have, say, sword fighting at 14, right? So normally you would have to roll under 14 to get a success. A 1 would be a critical, which is one stage of success above that. And then you're opposed by something which has a resistance factor to it. The default would be about 14, as usual. And the resistance rolls against you, and then you compare results. So if you got a critical success and they got a critical failure, that would be a massively huge success. You can get modifiers onto things. These are usually in steps of plus or minus 5 if the circumstances are in your favor. You can also use other abilities to boost your abilities. So if you've got sword fighting 14, but you decide to be swashbuckly and acrobatic about it, and you have acrobatics at 15, that might give you an extra +2. So it's all about playing to the spirituality of the world, playing to the story, and weaseling as many bonuses as you possibly can. If your score goes over 20, you get what's called a mastery level. And mastery levels automatically bump up or bump down depending the levels of success that you get. So if you're a master at something and you get a success, that might be bumped up to a good success or a critical success or whatever. The only wrinkle in the ointment from that simplicity is extended challenges, where you basically get a pool of points that you can bet on what you're trying to do each turn. And if you do well, then you score those points and more from the enemy. If you fail, they might get some of your points. So the points might be lost, and then you figure out who's won once you run out of points. It's easier than it sounds, but at least I think so. I haven't, with playing games I haven't really played. I've read it a lot, run a few little mini scenarios, but not actually played it. So let's bring in our players. Who should unmute themselves and say hi and introduce your characters to the people who are watching.
Kiergan, I'm playing first. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Kiergan.
Yes, I'm Kiergan, son of Thunder. I am the child of a nobleman, and therefore I'm better than everybody else. Better trained, more handsome, more generous, more honorable, with a small, useless dog.
Because you can afford to have a small, useless dog. It's a
That's right.
Sign of your standing.
Yes. Yes. Now I expect the rest of you peasants to attend me and do my bidding.
All right. And Rosvo?
Rosvo is a scarred and bitter old sea dog looking for a second lease on life. He's a bit what am I, a bit of a magic man here? Or he's
everyone has a little bit of magic. That's the other thing about Glorantha and HeroQuest. So everyone has like little bits of petty magic depending what religion they follow or what they've done in their life. So
So, yeah, he's looking for a glorious death. Think a bit like Mads Mikkelsen in Valhalla Rising.
Cool. LaRussa?
I should add the character portrait there is her self-image. Does not necessarily represent reality. LaRussa, she's a big girl. Her mum always said she was born under a call, so she's fated to do well, fated to have a great and distinguished role in the world. This has been somewhat frustrated by the fact that she is, by trade, by profession, a herder of goats. But she has profound hopes that life will present her, the gods will present her with a more challenging future that is worthy of her birthright.
And Ben Haisu.
Huh? What? Me? Oh, I'm an old man. I've been collecting herbs and poultices, and I can still fight. I can still adventure. I mean, I can even help you cure the wart off your cock.
Might not have a cock at the end of it, but you'll be cured one way or the other. And that's the important thing. Okay. So, things have been tense throughout Dragon Pass for quite some time. The Lunar Empire, ever expanding, has pushed its way into many of the territories that the Hjortling tribes call home, and they grow ever closer to the secluded, tucked away little place that your tribe calls home, a hill fort in the far south of Dragon Pass. In a desperate attempt to keep his son busy, the Hetman has sent Kjörgen and you others as his escort out to hunt, as they are not sure in these inclement and difficult times whether the crops will all be able to be brought in or not. So on the excuse of, go and bring some meat back to the tribe, you've been sent out into the wilderness. A short time ago, LaRussa managed to spot the sign of an elk. Must be somewhere nearby because the dung is nice and fresh. There's scattered woodland around where you are in the valleys around your hill fort. And you're far enough away that you can no longer see home, but hopefully you should be able to find the beast soon. That is your starting quest.
LaRussa bends down, picks up a great handful of this possibly still slightly softly steaming ordure, rubs it between her fingers, sniffs it several times, flicks out a large, slightly yellowed and furred tongue and licks it a couple of times delicately. Oh, there you are, my lord. I reckon we're in with a good chance here. He ain't passed this way too long ago.
Do you think it's a sacred white stag?
She looks carefully at the mound of shit in her hand. We don't know about that.
It must be. I am the son of thunder. The gods would not put an ordinary elk out here for me to hunt. This is probably a sacred animal, something the gods wish divinely for me to take down and offer up as a sacrifice. You must help me with this.
Oh, right you are. LaRussa is utterly convinced that he is right.
Well, let's see if you can tell anything else from the deer scat, so that we can demonstrate how a roll works.
Well, let me get a whiff of that to see if I can. And he's going to go over and begin to take a piece, actually, and then take a taste of its tongue. Take a taste of its tongue to it. Could I use wilderness survival?
Yes. Do you want to work together on this, or separately?
As you wish. Larusa is quite happy to. She's not proprietorial about her knowledge, so she'll a long and earnest conversation about this will probably follow. Oh, see, look, them little seeds there. Look, it's clearly been grazing off to the south.
Oh yes, yes. I would like to assist you on this. I believe not only can we tell the digestive tracts, but what it's been grazed on, which might be able to give us. I know you whippersnappers don't really know this, but an idea of where it came from.
Okay. So, well, let's do it as working together. So, of the two of you, who has the highest wilderness survival?
I have a 17, and I would like to use a herbalist if I can, which is a 1 on a mastery.
Where's your herbalism? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. That doesn't help. Okay. So your herbalism mastery would provide +2. So that would take your 17 to 19. What is Larusa's wilderness survival?
Just about everything she has is at a 17. So yeah.
Okay. So that would take it up 2. So that would.
I did taste test it a bit, and apparently that's a skill on my sheet.
Okay. What's that then?
That's at a 13, but I don't know if that'll help at all.
Yeah, it would. So that takes it to 22. So that's 2 with 1 mastery. So roll a d20. You need a 1 or a 2.
I rolled a 19 on the die.
Okay, so that's a failure, right? The resistance fails as well. So it's player failure, resistance failure. So it's either a marginal success or a tie. But if you've got a mastery, which bumps it up 1 to make it a success. So that makes it a minor victory. Okay, so reminds me of that old joke. You know, looks like shit, smells like shit, tastes like shit. Good job I didn't tread in it.
I'm detecting notes of peppercorn. Reminds me of this one dish I used to eat.
Well, whatever it is, and judging from the size of the turd before you really tore it into shreds, it is either a big stag, or a small elk, and it has been grazing on unripe blackberries.
Yes, it must be a sacred white elk of some sort, a majestic beast. Should hunt it down immediately. Just begin moving that direction.
So you want to track it from here?
Yes.
All right. So who's going to take the lead on the tracking?
Let the youngsters go first.
I was about to say, I don't know if Kiergan's necessarily the best, but he's got a 17, so he's not bad.
That's what your wilderness survival, yeah.
Yep. So it's roll under.
Well, so now you need to scavenge for bonuses, like from people helping you or any other skills that you've got that you might be able to put towards it.
Okay.
So,
well,
So I've got Scout, 13.
can we use Dragon Pass Geography?
yes, you know the local area well. So hang on. So we're starting at 17, right?
Right.
And what's your Dragon Pass Geography at?
17.
So that adds 2. And what's his name there was Scouting with a skill of 13. So that's +1.
Larusa will chip in with Wild Animal Law 17.
Okay, so that's another +2.
Can I use another keyword?
Yeah. So
Long
anything with
and
local
bitter
privilege.
experience. Is that
at sea, though.
Okay.
I will tap the youngsters on the shoulder and use Dragon Pass Geography at 17, pointing in a direction.
Yeah, so you can put your heads together about the best places to find blackberries. Anything else anyone has that might be helpful?
Small useless dog, perhaps?
Yeah, I guess has a good sense of smell at least, so
6.
not entirely useless dog.
Yeah.
Is it daytime or nighttime?
It is not long after you stopped and had your lunch, so it's about 2 p.m.
So we're within the bounds of our clan, I take it. So
Yes.
no local area 17.
Yep. Right. So that gives us a grand total of 27. So we take the 20 away for a mastery, which leaves you with 7. Standard resistance for most things is 14. So I roll. Okay. The stag got a success to try and avoid you. So T-shirt, roll D20. You need 7 or under.
I got a crit.
You're the 1.
Oh dear, it is a roll low system then, is it?
Yes. So what you actually mean is you
I got a fumbled.
Okay. All right, so the stag got a success, and you lot got a fumble. So
I rolled a 20.
So player fumble and opposition success. That is a major defeat.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Okay. So, with mouths full of deer scat and high hopes, you set off to where you all agree is the best blackberry patch, set of woodland, and you make your way off in that direction. Takes you a few hours. It's a bit of a heavy slog. It's been raining a lot lately, and the ground's gotten kind of swampy down in the valleys. But eventually, you arrive at the place which you all decided was a fantastic place for blackberries, only to find that all the thorn bushes are dead here and are not bearing any fruit whatsoever. And there's no sign of any deer having been here in some time.
Okay. Well, in order to keep everybody's spirits high and not make anybody feel bad about not doing this, going to use bullshit as well as exert authority. And I don't know if I can add handsome to this or not. And maybe, I don't know, Storm Pantheon myths. To
Well, what are you trying to do exactly?
Yes, I'm trying to hearten everybody. Clearly this was an animal, a beast sent by the gods. Look at how it has managed to destroy this entire blackberry patch. Truly, this must be a magnificent thing. We must be on its trail fairly close. I'm certain it's just being very evasive. Don't lose heart, everyone. Let's try again.
Okay, so you're trying to lift everyone's spirits. However, you did just have a major defeat, so I'm going to make the difficulty 17. Okay, what is your leadership skill?
What's leadership?
Well, that's whichever trait seems most appropriate.
Oh, could I count aristocratic?
Exert authority.
Exert authority? Okay.
Yeah. So, buck up, men, and then what are you adding to that?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the personality trait credulous, but I do have I do have the one stubborn. So yes, I am totally going to agree that we are totally going in the right direction, and we're going to keep going.
Okay, what's your stubborn rating?
It's a 17.
Okay, so that's +2. You are charming as Kjörgen, so
yep,
that can help.
And I don't know if grooming actually matters or not, but bullshit definitely counts.
you've been out hunting for a couple of days. No grooming.
Okay, bullshit.
Bullshit definitely counts. Yeah.
I think this is a bad omen, and I would like to use old and stubborn, if I can, or community, which might apply a bit better.
Oh, you were sent out to hunt for the sake of the community. So community, yeah. So what's your rating in that?
17, and as a backup, I will fondle for my bones to cast if we need to.
Can I?
Bone
Eight.
casting might help if you set out to find a different beast or to find the trail again. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, well, if you can't do it, never mind that. I was going to try and aid with my superstitious quality.
That will help again if you choose to do something supernatural. Okay, so T-shirt, that's taken you to 3 with 1 mastery. So roll D20, you need a 1 to 3.
Okay, what about Storm Pantheon myths?
Oh, yeah. So something that goes around eating everything. Well, trolls do that, and you're bound to have myths around trolls. So what's
there you
that?
go.
Another 2?
17, yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay, so 1 to 5 on a D20.
Oh boy. Okay. You'd think I'd be really good at this system considering how bad my D20 rolls usually are. But god damn it, I got an 18. So no.
Okay, so you failed.
Again.
All right. So player failure, and the opposition succeeded. So that would be a minor defeat for you, but you got a mastery level, so that bumps it up 1 to a marginal success or a tie. So, I mean, you guys, you all still feel very tired and kind of defeated, but you're grudgingly willing to go on following this milksop around on his quest.
Milksop. Aww.
So, what do you want to do from here? You are several miles out of your way, muddy booted, in a pretty sparse set of woodland with dead thorns.
Just retrace our steps to where we found the dung and try again?
Yes,
Okay, so
I would like to agree with that, being very old and stubborn, and go back to the beginning and searching high and low, which 2 skills that I have.
all right, so you travel all the way back, though a bit quicker because you know the land better this time, and you're climbing up out of the mire. But even so, you've only got maybe an hour, maybe 2 of daylight left before you're going to have to make camp, and then you're going to have to head back home soon. You're almost out of provisions, given that you've hardly been able to catch anything for a few days. So, given the time pressure and the fact that the trail's gone somewhat cold, I am going to bump up the difficulty to 19.
Boy.
So, how do you want to go about tracking this beast now?
Same as before, I think.
With some added, people had other ideas like casting bones and.
I say we'll go with what the wise man says.
Okay, but the main thing is tracking. So you, Kjörgen's still leading because he's arrogant, I guess.
Yes.
And your wilderness survival is 17, right?
Right.
Okay. What are we adding in to make that better?
Wilderness survival 17, high and low searching 13, and just pure stubborn grit. We will find this beast and fell it. Old and stubborn 13.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm adding in Dragon Pass Geography.
So that's what,
17?
17?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's +2.
I don't think knowledge works.
Can you add a keyword that's already been added, or it's like
if you haven't added it, yes.
I'll add my wilderness survival, and if it's dark enough to see the stars, can I add navigate by the stars?
Some of the stars are showing. What's your navigate by the stars skill?
17.
Okay, so that would normally give you +2, but because it's Twilight, I'll just add +1. The dog can track, kind of.
So another 6.
Yeah, which is +1. Any more for any more?
Okay, so I'll just go down the list. No local area, 17.
Yep.
Dragon Pass Geography, 17.
Okay.
Wilderness Survival, 17.
Yep.
Wild Animal Law, 17.
Yep.
Navigate by Stars, 17.
I'll reduce that to +1.
Yep.
Yep.
And I say, yes, go on then. Let's have Stubborn as well. Squeeze that in on 17 as well.
Okay, that will make the potential consequences worse because you don't know when to quit.
Seems fine to me.
And
Right,
I forgot
so-
to add Dragon Pass 17 for myself.
Okay.
I'll
And did anyone want to cast the bones or do any magic to help with the hunting?
Well, if you want to take the time, I'll do it for you, youngsters.
Can't hurt. This
All
is a
right.
sacred task.
Gods, please show us the way to the path. 17.
and I'm going to believe him implicitly because I'm superstitious. So that is 17 as well.
Okay, you're only one person, so I'll drop that slightly. Okay, so yeah, you cast around, find what's left of the trail. Van Heisu's kneels down, spreads out his little runic prayer mat, rattles his chicken bones in his pouch and drops them onto it and reads them off. And you put your heads together and come up with your plan of attack. Okay, so you have 3 with 2 mastery. So, Kjörgen, please roll.
Hang on, let me see. God damn it. 16?
Okay, so that's a failure.
Another one.
Okay, and the stag or whatever it is got a success. So, looking at the chart. Okay, so you got a failure, it got a success. So it'd normally be a minor defeat, but because you threw so much stuff into it, you've got 2 masteries and it doesn't have any. So that bumps it up to a minor victory. All right. By the time you track the beast down, it is properly night. So it's properly dark now. It's only a half moon, so there's not that much light out. There's the occasional firefly or glowworm in the darkness and the scrub around the patches of woodland, but that's about it. But you think for a moment against the stars, you see the silhouette of a stag with a peculiar hump on its back up near its neck. But you only see it silhouetted for a moment before it moves away again into the darkness, and you hear that weird honking cry that stags and deer and so on give. But it's not far.
So we shall stalk it.
Yes, perhaps we could use some decenter or a different scent to disguise and make sure we don't go, upwind from this creature.
That seems smart.
Does anyone have a spear or a bow? Or
I do.
useful hunting equipment?
Yes, I have a spear.
My business is more at the ass end of things with cutting it
No,
open.
you have a sword and a shield.
I do? Oh, it says spear.
You
And
can
shield
fight with
combat.
spears,
Oh, okay.
but under gear you have a sword and shield. Sword's not particularly great for killing deer.
No.
What if we have it come to us with a trap, setting a snare?
The person who would have been great for this was Metza, but we didn't take her.
As is the way. Slings are pretty vicious, so the Rusa might actually be.
I
Very good.
was going to venture to suggest that, but only if we ran out of any other options. I don't know how how one would bring down a full-grown stag with a sling, but okay.
Carefully.
Well, accurately, with pinpoint accuracy between the eyes, I think is probably.
I have an idea. So, if you could sneak around and spook it, at least it won't come your direction. You could actually push it to our direction. So, if you fail with the sling, we could perhaps hit it with melee, stab it, and such.
So flush it out, and then either it is killed by the big stone smacking it in the head, or it gets fluffed towards our intrepid band of adventurers who then stab it to death.
Right, you are, says LaRuta with her absolutely customary. He's an old man. He absolutely must know more. It's just definitionally the case.
Okay, so let's see. I don't think there's slinging as a skill. Oh, no, there it is. 17. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. This is only going to be a simple test. So the main thing is the sling. The sling as gear gives you a +1, so that adds 1 to your skill total. So we're looking at things to do with stealth, hunting, or stabbing things from everybody else. And anything else that Larissa can bring to bear.
I will use my wilderness survival knowledge to tell him which parts he should plant his feet so it doesn't sound less crunchy under leaf and twig and such.
Okay.
That's a 17.
Yep, I think I will do the same. I don't guess spear and shield combat matters here. So.
No.
Is it possible I could use bullshit in conjunction with
How do you bullshit a deer?
Real simple. It's like this. I'm not having to bullshit the deer. I have to bullshit the people who are following me. So, in this case, the bullshit is, if you speak the name of Lancor before you begin sneaking, you will have better success because the gods will hear you.
Are you suggesting that invoking the name of the gods is bullshit, sir?
Heresy, I say.
No, I'm just making shit up, but it gives you confidence.
Well, not when you tell us that.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm speaking out of character.
Okay. All right. What else?
So you said anything sword fighty. Agile 17, sword fighting 7 with a mastery, and wilderness survival with a 17.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and throw my dagger right between the eyes. So the thrown weapon 17.
Yeah, and what's the dagger bonus?
+1.
Okay.
And I do have sword fighting 5 mastery.
Okay, so the mastery is 2, then you got 5 on top of that. Okay.
So if we're going to do this all as in one maneuver, if we fail on hitting it with the ranged bit, we'll stab it. I will throw in knife combat 13 with a dagger that has a +1.
Yeah.
I'm going to be stubborn and old and not care whether I live or die for the community. So that's a +13. Well, 13 on that skill.
Okay, so if it goes disastrously wrong, you're going to get trampled.
Yes. And then I would say, as we're laying this plan together, we should be very patient. So I would like to use the calm patience that I've learned as a healer to kind of extend that to make a carefully cold, calculated maneuver. 17.
Yep. Everyone all done?
So I'm going to go with wilderness survival 17.
Yeah.
Wild animal law 17.
Yeah.
Animal friendship 17. I don't know whether it counts for wild animals, but we'll give it a
go. For sneaking up on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sling 17.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much this involves, but magic, climb over hill and dale, 17.
If you want to get into a vantage point up in a tree, I guess it can aid your maneuvering because you want to get around it, don't you?
Yes, without
Without
spooking.
being impeded too much. Okay, so what's the level of
17.
what's your roll? 17. Okay.
Yep. And the sling +1, and that's it.
Okay.
I will attempt to, if it does go to trample me, attack attack enemy spirit for magic 17 to scare it with hurt curses and hexes from the old days.
Yeah. Okay. So 3, 2, and 12. Okay. Can LaRusso roll, please? You need 12 or under.
Certainly. That is a 4.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a success. And the deer, resistance normally 14. I'll give it a +5 for the cover of the forest. So that takes it to 19. So it gets a success. So that's success versus success, but you guys have 2 levels of mastery. So that's either a marginal success or a tie bumped up to a player critical, which is a minor victory. Bumped up again is a major victory. Okay. You get into position. The men crouching in the bushes in a sort of skirmish line, ready for when it comes. LaRussa utters a few little prayers and then moves with a confident step through the woods around behind the stag. Comes up upon it slowly, reeking of goat. So it just looks at you confused for a moment. Huh? You a goat? You fling your stone from your sling with high speed. It smacks the stag squaw between the eyes. It goes cross-eyed, staggers, and then sort of drunkenly turns and tries to run away, bumping into a couple of trees on the way. As it passes through the skirmish line, everyone leaps out, screaming ancient curses and stabbing wildly with their daggers and swords, whatever other blades and things they have to hand. The stag bellows one last confused noise and then slumps to the ground with a thump.
Small dog yapping at it and nipping at its heels.
Yes. With a pug-like dog connected to its back leg.
Yes.
So was
All
this
right,
a stag elk?
Wasn't an elk, but a big deer stag. A red deer.
Magnificent specimen. Truly one sent by the gods.
Yeah, all of you who were stabbing it, you seem to be covered in some kind of sticky, smelly substance, but in the darkness, you're not quite sure what it was.
Wasn't blood.
All right, quick. Let's strike a fire and see what we're dealing with. We need to make sure that the animal's not diseased. We don't want to poison the community now.
That weird hump on its neck.
Yeah. Okay, so there's plenty of dry wood around here. You gather some together, make a crude little ring of rocks, build a little fire, and get it started. No trouble. You're all experienced woodsmen to one degree or another. As the flames leap up and light the little clearing around you, you're able to, between you, drag the stag's body closer to the fire. The hump on its neck seems to be an old wound. There's a broken off arrow stuck between its shoulders where someone shot it previously. And in your wild stabbing, you basically pierced the abscess and coated each other in pus.
Okay, I would like to make a bunch of things here. Number one, I have first aid with 9 points over 1 mastery. I have herbalism with 1 point over mastery. I also can make the medicine if we need to get there. Treat disease is a 17. Recognize disease is a 17. This is my whole entire kit and caboodle here. So what I want to do is I want to see how far if it's poison, is the liver spotted and stuff like that. Do I recognize the pustules and stuff like that, or how to clean it or clear it up from us? Like I might take a couple of the coals out of the fire real quick, douse them and mash them up to make a charcoal compound to like try to remove any poison or disease from ourselves, or at least from the meat of the creature, and then proceed with that.
So I won't require any rolls for that. It's kind of your whole raison d'etre, and you've got skills out the ass.
Just don't lick the wound.
The old man gets busy and tells people to fuck off. Oh, sorry.
You can get everyone cleaned up to a degree. None of you were wounded in your pursuit of the stag, so you haven't got any pus in any of your wounds. As to the creature itself, it's a localized wound. It seemed to be moving around okay, at least until someone brained it with a stone to the skull. So, there's not too much to worry about there. The blood might carry the infection, but if you hang the carcass and drain it properly and cook it well, it should still be fine for the tribe to eat.
Not exactly the white stag you were hoping for, but
I still say it was sent by the gods, because clearly it was diseased, and we eliminated a threat to other creatures and our own community by dispatching it. So,
speaking of which, we should definitely give thanks. So he'll take some of the blood that's like you can tell is not poison and mix it with some herbs and stuff like that, and then starts using gestures to ward off evil magic, ward off magic 17 on each of the people in this group, including himself finally last, and then begin to give thanks to the old gods.
With the proper veneration and having succeeded in the quest the headman gave to you, you can all have a hero point.
yay!
Yes.
Did I explain hero points? I didn't explain hero points, did I?
You're not.
I have no idea what they do.
Okay, 1 second, and I will explain hero points. I've given myself an opportunity to do so. Okay, hero points are the usual kind of like fate point type thing in a game, but they have a few differences as well. You can spend hero points to bump up the result of one of your rolls, so you could turn a complete defeat into a major defeat. Another point would turn it into a minor defeat, and so on. So you can ratchet up your level of success or soothe your level of failure. You can spend a hero point to gain a new ability at 13 for 1 point. You can learn a new capability with common magic for 2 points. All these things still need justification, though. You can improve an ability by 1 point for a point. Improve a magic skill by a point for 2 points. Sometimes you'll get granted a benefit during play that's normally temporary. So, like if you heroically rescued some villagers, you might get, villagers are grateful as a trait for that session. But you could turn that into a permanent trait by spending a point. And you can spend points to ask me to include things that you want in the game or alter something about what's going on.
Such as having a cage full of tigers at a party.
So I would say no, and you would keep your point.
Worked last time, damn it.
Are the upgrades the like getting a new skill or upping an existing skill, those are all permanent as well?
Yeah.
Could we also use a hero point? Let's say, like, I would like to trade one in. If we role played and went back to the community, I went to my little hovel and picked up my old spear and shield and like blowing off the dust. Time to get back to the good old days.
Yes. So there, you can spend a hero point. Cool. You can now have a spear and shield. There you go.
Okay. I'm going to look at the youngster Kurgan and all right, I bestow upon you the antlers of this great and foul beast, but let's go home. I'm old.
Camping is not so much for you anymore.
Too damn cold.
How are you going to transport this magnificent beast back to home?
Let's cut some saplings down. I placed 3 or 4 inches and good wood. Bind it together and just drag it on a stretcher behind us. Slow and carefully, though. There's predators about, aside from just us.
Yeah. And you can treat yourself to some choice but heavily cooked cuts. So, yeah. You're feeling pretty good. Are you standing watches overnight or relying on the cover of the woods?
Kind of trying to think of Kurgan's arrogance is overriding his good judgment on this. I mean, how dangerous is this area normally?
Well, this is away from most of the settlements and so on. There could be wild beasts or bands of trolls or other things out here. It's not hugely likely though. But there are also rebels who've been fighting the Lunar Empire and lunar patrols as well that you would probably want to give a wide berth to.
Yes, we should set up a watch. Even though I'm confident that we will not be molested, I still feel like to not set a watch would tempt the trickster gods into sending us a problem.
Fine, I'll take first.
Good man. Good man. I'll take last and get up early.
I will join Roosevelt because it's too damn cold for me to sleep, but I would also suggest that we hang the carcass in a different tree from where I just degutted the carcass. So move a little bit away from that, start a new fire, let that old fire go out, and then be at least out of the fire's light. That way, if there is something coming in, we're not highlighted beacons while we're taking this watch and resting.
Good. But the entrails, can you read them for me?
Common Magic 17, Grim, and would I use Cast the Bones?
Yeah, that would be the most appropriate.
That says 17 as well. So what do I need to roll?
Roll D20, 19 or under.
I rolled a 17 on the die.
Okay, so that's... you're not getting anything definite out of the entrails. It feels like things are in flux. Fate could go one of two ways.
I think the old gods and the ancient spirits are satisfied with what we've done. However, we must be vigilant at all times. That's how you live to be as old as I, youngster.
I'm not trying to live to be a graybeard. I'm supposed to die gloriously. Instead, I'm aging. My sword hand doesn't hold as well as it used to. Covered in scars.
Getting killed while you're sleeping at a campfire isn't really a godly way to go either. So.
I believe he was more asking his whole entrails, his fortune. In the absence of witchy girls, you ask an old man to read entrails for you.
I thought you were doing this for the state of the situation. I'd like to try that again, Grim. And I'll use my personal bones this time, not the entrails, because it's a private matter. So cast the bones 17, common magic 17, and then I'm just going to say fuck it and plug a hero point. Sorry for the cursing.
Okay.
I'm going to plug a hero point into this.
You're allowed to swear on my streams. I don't care.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and roll.
I rolled a 16 on the D20.
Okay. So you got a success. I rolled a failure on the resistance. So that's normally a minor victory. And you spent a hero point.
Yes, sir.
Which takes it up to a major victory. All right. So this changeable path in the future, Rosvo is definitely caught up in it. It could go either way. But there is an opportunity soon for him to die the heroic death that he seeks.
What must I do?
The symbols, the signs are uncertain, but there is a great challenge that could face the tribe and him individually.
That's a lot cooler than what I was going to say. I was going to say, you must cut down the mightiest tree in the forest with a shrubbery. Oh, wait a minute, with a herring.
I will actually take a couple of the teeth out of the deer and I'm like, hold these, and your fate will come to you.
Rosfo reaches out, grasps them, thrilled at these teeth, buries them in his pocket. Thank you. I'll keep them close.
Do not thank me, thank the gods.
I will give Rosvo an additional hero point for kind of knowing his future. And I will give you also the temporary trait. Where did it go on? Magic. Okay, I'll give you the temporary trait. Doom Destiny. Okay. So you'll be able to invoke that at some point to face your doom or your destiny.
Suddenly
All right.
attacked by Mongolians.
It takes you most of the next day to get back home. When you arrive back home, the hill fort is in disarray. Everyone seems to be busy doing things. The herds have been brought down from the hills. Carts are being loaded. It seems like most of the young men are gone. And it seems like only the old men and the women folk who aren't shield maidens are the ones who remain. And everyone's emptying out their huts, packing up their stuff, and loading it up onto wagons to be pulled by giant boar and other weird animals that the tribe uses.
What is going on?
Your father, being one of the few who remains, comes striding out from the crowd where he's been directing people's efforts. Ah, Kjorgen, favored son.
Yes, father. What is going on?
Did you bring food?
Well, yes, we found a magnificent stag, but it was somewhat diseased.
Is it safe to eat? He leans across and looks to Van Hysu, whose
Yes,
opinion he
it's safe
respects.
to eat, your sire, your great Jarl, and he'll bend down.
Ah. Well, Kjorgen, the rebels came by while you were out hunting. We had a great discussion, and we've decided to throw in our lot against the Lunar Empire to drive them from our lands in a new golden horde. So all the young, fit people left to join the fight, with my blessing. But I knew you and your compatriots would return.
Yes. Well, it was difficult to track animal, and we saw where many raspberry bushes were completely decimated by it.
I see. This stag despoiled the land. Are you sure it's safe to eat?
Well, we've eaten it, and we haven't had any ill effects, so of course it's fine.
Not only my knowledge and skill tells me so, but the omens from the gods that have been bred say it to be so. In fact, you'll pat Roosevelt on the shoulder. This one seems to have a glorious destiny alongside your son in battle. Perhaps this was the way, Jarl.
Good. Excellent. But son, you and your friends, come with me to the to the longhouse. I need to talk to you before we completely dismantle everything and take it with us. And then he strides back into the hill foot and heads towards the longhouse.
Will we be passing going past our own homes and stuff like that at all?
Yes, you can grab any stuff that you need.
Okay, hero point for the spear and the shield.
Don't need to spend a hero point. That's something you'd have if you have the training in it anyway. Let me just look up what the bonuses are for those. Weapons. See equipment. If it says equipment, see weapons, I'm not going to be happy.
And then I would also like to replenish my stores of herbal stuff from what I've used out in the field. Too. Yeah. If I need a hero point for that, I don't mind spending them.
No, I mean that's your job. So yeah, you can have plenty of supplies of herbs.
If I wanted, I guess, a quiver of javelins.
I think they were carried in slings. I think.
If I wanted that, would that be a hero point, or is that something I could just have?
Well, javelins. For that, because it's a bit more specialist, you'd have to spend a hero point.
Oh, I'll take axes.
Okay, axes is fine.
Yeah.
Why can't I find the equipment entry? It's not something I just want to make up. I want to get it right. Not helpful. Characters. Sorry, this will just take a minute.
So as we're walking, before I go run off to my little hut to go grab a couple of things. Roosevelt, I think you're going to have the battle that you wish, and I believe and trust in our faithful young master, Kurgan, to lead us to victory. What do you all think?
Now, I trust my sword my failing flesh it's an obstacle for sure, but it's all I have to me. And of course the gods. With their favor, I'll fight to the bitter end. I don't know much about the young lord. I've been away, voyaging, raiding.
Larissa, you seem to be very strong, at least to your build. I'm wondering if that ample bosom could crack skulls instead of just walnuts.
I've never had the chance to find out, but I take it as a good omen that we have been summoned to his lordship's hall.
Is that how I gloriously die?
What happened to him?
What a way to go, Master. What a way.
If I remember correctly, I believe Freya is the goddess of warrior spirit. Perhaps she may smile upon you.
He had his skull crushed between a woman's thighs. It's a glorious death.
I'm having a terribly hard time finding this. It says see equipment, but then there's no entry under equipment.
This animal is very, very different from RuneQuest, I'll say that.
Yeah. Fuck it. Okay, we'll say +2 for the javelins and spears, and the shield, I think, is a +3. One last quick look. This is so annoying.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to grab some coffee.
Okay.
You remember that other book I showed you in Discord, Grim?
Yeah.
There's an equipment section on page 235 of that. That's in the far back. It says examples of weapons and armor. The one on the left.
Right.
That's the HeroQuest Glorantha. It's the blue covered book with the chick coming out with the battle axe.
Mm. What? If you've got it ready, what's it say there?
Yeah, I have it on my phone here. So, it doesn't say any pluses. It just says like for a sling example, it's like a simple leather throwing with a cup and a rock. The sling stone increase, in the hands of an expert, so a minimum range of 15 feet. Price is 10 clacks. Just doesn't really say any mechanical benefit,
Really?
just descriptions.
No.
Yeah. I thought it was something. My bad.
That's okay. See if this website's still active. It's meant to have a more comprehensive index. Since T-shirt's making coffee. No. Actually, I could use a break for a minute, so let's take 15 minutes or so now. So we will be back in a bit.
Okay.
All right, everyone back.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah,
I'm back.
that PDF you helpfully pointed me at. I can't get it to load.
That's a shame. It looks like the whole book.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on page. Yeah, the page that you referenced. I know I found the equipment before because I put it on.
It's page 78 of the PDF. So,
7.
yeah. Basically, it seems to be that you use a spear one-handed, it counts as a +3 tool, in the same way that a sling is a +1 tool.
Right.
If you use it two-handed, it's a +5 tool. A shield is a +1 tool, may not be used with a two-handed spear.
Found it. Finally. Yeah. Yeah, 1/4 of a page is the entire equipment section. So,
So
yes.
1/4 of one column on a page.
Yes. Yeah. Right. I'm going to mark that with something.
Neil,
Yep.
can you read the private chat for a moment?
Mm.
I only recently found out what wine gums were, so.
But you know what Marmite is, so you're all good.
I do know what Marmite is. In fact, I have a jar of Vegemite nearby. So.
Not the same thing at all.
Well, yeah, Vegemite's way better, but
No. Heresy.
I saw an ad for of the Australian Taco Bell. They're doing a Vegemite taco.
what?
Yep.
That is sacrilege. My people's
Look it up.
cuisine is being bastardized by people from down under.
There you go. You see, that's exactly how I feel about Vegemite.
Vegemite. Why have cocaine when you can have crack? All right. Yes. So the headman was waiting for you in the longhouse. And you were ransacking your huts for your spears and shields and herbs and other personal effects.
Sounds like we're gonna go saber rattling and some. They were Lunar called. They were called Lunar or Lunites.
Yeah, the Lunar Empire.
Okay.
Soft Southerners, but they like do unheroic things like organizing their combatants into ranks and unsporting shit like that. It's just terrible.
It's cheating.
Yeah, and bribing other less ideological clans to become part of their empire. Yeah, civilization. It's catching.
It's terrible. You should run naked at your opponents, clothed only in woad.
So I'm gonna rush over to the Longhouse to meet the Jarl. With the rest, I guess, with everybody else.
Yep. Is everyone else going?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's my dad's house, so yes.
Yeah, so it's your house too, really?
Yeah, effectively.
Okay. Right. When you enter the longhouse, the fires have been put out. All the important knickknacks are being taken down by various members of the tribe. Your father, the headman, chases them out. Apart from Franken the Unwashed, who is storm priest for the tribe, who stands with him and casts a handful of bones on the table before him.
But probably not too close.
No. Come, my son, your friends. with our tribe joining in the rebellion against the heathen moon worshippers, that puts us in a difficult position. We have to leave our fields and move somewhere where there can't be reprisals, where we can't be found, where we can't be attacked, where we can be safe while our warriors, apart from you, obviously, who will be doing the honorable task of taking care of the rest of the tribe. But our warriors need to be able to fight freely without worrying that we're going to be attacked, killed, burnt, and so on.
Okay, so I'm gonna go totally snotty kitty. But Dad, what? Why are you making me do an escort mission? Nobody likes to do. I want to be out front with the warriors.
You will be out front. You will be treading the path for us, and we will follow on behind.
Oh, well, that's different.
Franken steps forward, scatters a few more bones, and examines them with his one good bulging eye. The gods have spoken to me and told me that we must seek refuge in the mountains, in Aiden's Wall and the Arrow Mound, up the Lawstaff Path, as a site of our hero quests, of our vision quests, and of our heritage. It should be protected from the moon worshippers and from those traitorous clans and tribes that have turned against their own. But we need you to go ahead and to make sure things are safe. This is a testing and trying time, and it is a path normally reserved for rite and ritual. So we need to send someone important, like the son of our chief, to tread the path. And those who best represent our wisdom and our farming and animal husbandry, and the work we have done to bring wealth to the tribes. So it is fortuitous that you are the only ones left for you fit those roles.
May I make a request, my liege?
Yes.
Could you spare some holy ointments and such that we may consecrate the ground, that the old gods might give their watchful eyes to our succeeded journey?
Yes, Franken, the unwashed, the Thunder Priest, reaches into his piecemeal furs and takes out a couple of clay pots and hands them over to you. They're slightly clammy.
Yep, just made this fresh this morning. Scraped it off my own inner thigh.
Here, to sanctify as you go.
I will bow.
Oh, jeez.
Franken dips his hand in a bowl of his sacred juices and flicks all of you with it, giving you a blessing in the name of the Thunder Gods.
Thanks.
May Orlanth guide you. And Analda watch over you.
All right, we really have to be going now. Bye, Dad. Crap, everybody.
Wait.
What?
Franken has one other gift for you.
Rolls his eyes. Make it quick.
He reaches again into his voluminous furs and draws out a burnt stick.
Thank you. We will need some kindling. We'll need quite a bit more than this, but I do appreciate this.
Mark the path with this thunderstruck stick so the tribe may follow safely.
I see. Larusa, can you keep the sacred stick and mark the path. You know.
It's gonna take a sort of prod to get her out of her royalist reverie. Her attitude to royalty makes Louis XIV look like Robespierre. Yes, my lord. And she takes it, holds out both hands as if you're about to put a sacrament into it.
Good lass. Good. Yeah. Pat her on the shoulder and good going now.
Travel well, my son.
Larusa glances around smugly at the others, holding her little burnt stick. She's been
Got a
entrusted
magic
with.
stick.
Yeah.
All right. So
Peasants.
the rest of the tribe continues to pack everything up, and you are free to leave on your new quest.
Now,
Well-
Larusa hasn't quite grokked this. She earnestly believes that this is her moment of destiny. So she goes back to her little hut. She will have assigned the goats to be taken by one of her fellow herders or something. And she gets out what she imagines to be a spear, which is actually just a stick.
Not even a hay fork.
No. It's literally just sort of, she sort of whittled the end down to a wooden point.
All right.
Right.
Well, Kjörgen is nominally in charge. The village folk have given you new provisions, water, anything else mundane that you think you might need and that would realistically be here. But
Maybe bows, because those would have come in handy last time.
yep, you can have bows.
Since Vaughn has grabbed his stuff hastily, recognizing a battle coming on, I'll be waiting for everyone there. And while I'm waiting, I would like to, as soon as we're all formed up, make a gesture to ward off evil magics.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to shroud ourselves in a spirit that will attack the enemy on sight.
Okay,
So that is common magic 17, attack enemy spirit 17, and gesture to ward off magic 17.
So it's 3 things all at 17, right?
Yes, and I will do this calmly to be more honored and humbled when I commune with the gods.
And you can use the Temple of the Thunders in the village while you're still here.
Okay.
Okay, roll a d20.
I rolled 12 on the die.
Okay. Just- Okay, duly noted. You feel the comfort of some watching presence moving with you. All right. So, Jürgen,
Yes.
what's the plan?
Well, okay. Kurgan being his usual, everything is larger than life, questy type, almost childishness. Hastily taking his people and, marching them out ahead. Come on. We have a grand adventure to go on now. This is important. And here,
Okay.
everyone takes a bow.
Bows and arrows for everyone. Okay, so yeah, you're all a bit more laden down than you would normally be. Spears, shields, bow, arrows, javelins, other bits and pieces. Did someone have a donkey? I think someone had a companion.
I do, and if it looks like we are going to be laden, I will take it with me this time.
Yeah, well, you
I've
can
always wanted
load
to
all
say
the you can load all the missiles.
Larissa, bring your ass over here.
That's a donkey, sir. I think it's Vinhasu has the ass.
Oh,
And it's hairy too, if you want to see.
I'm sure it's a very fine ass.
Okay. Well, if the donkey carries all the rations and odd bits and pieces, then that leaves you free to carry your weapons more easily. And spears double as good walking staves anyway, so
You do.
it's all good. All right. You need to find the entrance to the Lawstaff Path, which is an extremely well hidden and normally very spiritual path. So rather than tediously going over all the traveling that you need to do, we'll do a Lord of the Rings montage of
Fast
you
travel.
tromping down the hill, tromping across the valleys, up the foothills, and up into the lower reaches of the Skyreach Mountains as you search for the pass.
With Howard Shore music accompanying us.
All right.
Mechanic question,
How-
real quick. The
Yeah.
bow is that going to be a light weapon or considered an average weapon? What we got?
It would be a +3 weapon for a normal bow. A great bow, like a yew long bow, or a heavy crossbow would be a +5 weapon.
I'm going to declare that his shield is on his back, and so he'll also tuck in the spear, and he'll have the bow out and an arrow in hand, ready to knock it.
Okay.
And,
All right.
Considering how easily we got the elk, this should go fine.
the throwing axes,
Mhm.
are those +1, 2, or 1, 3, or 5?
If you've just grabbed a bunch of hatchets, +1. If they're actually like war axes, tomahawks, or the equivalent, then +3.
Do you want me to spend a hero point on that, or can I have it?
Spend a hero point to get the
Okay.
war axes, because the tribal warriors who left would have taken them with them. So, yeah, you'll need to
Had them
invest some
squirreled
luck.
away.
Yeah. All right. So, we'll reduce this down to one challenge with everyone contributing what they can. How are you going to penetrate the mountains and find the secret, magically protected path of the Lawstaff?
Well, I imagine I would have been here two times a season for the last 14 seasons in the foothills, taking the goats up for their summer grazing. So I will lead them by various and sundry goat tracks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so which main ability are you using?
I think probably no local area fits quite well. 17.
Yeah, 17.
Dragon Pass Geography 17.
Yep.
Wilderness Survival ? Seems a bit of a stretch, that one, but
Yeah, you're not tracking anything, and you're not like building a
No.
shelter. So yeah.
no, that seems fair enough. Let's have a look. I think that's possibly, maybe, unless, well, this is less likely to help with the discovery, but more with the progress. Climb over hill and dale as a magical thing, 17.
Yeah, you can throw in a few magic words, and bribes to local spirits along the way to aid you, because it's a magically hidden path. Those will help.
Okay,
All right, what's anyone else got to contribute?
I'm can include my talk with ancestors and scouting. At talk with ancestors at 17, scouting at 13.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's taking you a few days of travel. So at night, when you're poking the fire with a stick, you can whisper to your ancestors and listen to their whispers back. Plenty of ancestors have trod the Lawstaff path to retrieve the Lawstaff and claim its authority.
Gonna use Dragon Pass Geography.
Yep. So what's that at?
17.
Okay.
And Wilderness Survival at 17 also, if I can use it.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Any magic?
Divine Aid.
Calling upon the gods would be appropriate, but how are you going to go about doing that?
Please, oh please.
Just give it to me once. Come on. No. Yes, no. Sacrifice the small dog. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to joke about that. Sacrifice a small animal on a hastily erected mound and call upon, the Storm Pantheon, the Lancor, the Knowing.
Okay, first,
Aid.
roll under your wilderness survival to catch a small animal.
Okay. That shouldn't be hard.
Just a straightforward roll.
Got a 4.
Okay. You managed to snag a rabbit.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then you're sacrificing a rabbit to the storm gods.
Yeah, Lancor, the Knowing.
Mm-hmm. Appropriate to give you knowledge.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you can invoke his aid. What's your level in?
Divine Aid, 1 Mastery.
Okay, so that's worth 2 points. Okay.
Best I got there. Unless I can also use my Lancor, the Knowing relationship at a 17.
Well, you were specifically praying to him, so yes.
Okay. But
I
I
will
also call upon the ancestors for help.
Yeah, you can all commune with your ancestors. What you got
Oh.
for that?
It's another 17.
Okay. Anything else?
I can contribute a few things. Dragon
Okay.
Pass Geography 17. Searching High and Low 13.
Definitely applicable.
And then I would like to use my knowledge of herbalism to the knowing of the flora and fauna in the area, looking for the off bits where it doesn't make sense from my old knowledge. So that's 1 point above mastery if I can use that.
Yeah.
And then on the religion aspect, I'm not quite proficient with this giant bow, but I'm going to see if I can light the arrows, light magic 17, and fire them through the darkness so we can get gauges of where we're going throughout the night.
Okay, so you can travel later into the night and cover more ground. Okay, so what's your light magic capability?
It's at 17.
17 as well.
And the common magic that is based off is at 17 as well.
If this is leading me towards my destiny, can I apply Doom and Destiny?
You can indeed.
13?
All right. Is that everybody done?
I think so.
Okay, so can Larissa make the roll, please? Roll D20.
12.
Okay, that's a failure, but remember, it's not necessarily bad because you've got 2 masteries. You are trying to find a magically hidden location. That's a failure with 1 mastery. The mastery knocks off one of your masteries. So you compare the successes, or in this case, failures. Higher failure, resistance failure, marginal success or tie, and bumped up 1, minor victory. Okay. So, yeah, takes you a few days of travel to reach the lower parts of the mountains. On the morning of 4th or 5th day, you've set out early with your way lit by the light arrows that have been fired before you. But the morning mists are rising, and rather than being able to see more, rather what you see around you more is it's glowing mist. But here and there, having exhausted yourselves by traveling so hard, day and night and into the night and early in the mornings, maybe fasting a little to commune with the gods, you find yourselves feeling a little bit lightheaded, but through the mist, those of you who've been communing with the ancestors believe you can see them like shades and shadows in the mist leading your way. It's hard, rough going, and you are pretty exhausted, but eventually out of the mist ahead of you, you see a pair of huge stone-hewn statues, one of Glorantha, father of the gods, and one of his wife, Imelda. And between them, a narrow path passes up into the mountains.
I think that's the way.
Perhaps we should take a respite before we enter.
It would seem wise to rest up a little bit before we go in. Who knows what's inside?
I'm pretty sure I can make a medicine that'll put a little pep in your step.
Is it made with a coca leaf?
I won't tell. So yeah, if we take a respite, I will actually use my proficiency in herbalism, which is mastery plus one, make medicine mastery plus one, and then try to infuse it with, if we're weary, to save off the drudgery effects of being like sore and the lactic acid in the muscles, using magical heal flesh of 17.
Okay. Roll a d20.
Okay. One. I got a 1.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. So that is a player crit. And I rolled a success on the resistance based on how tired everybody is. But then you have a mastery, so major victory. Okay. So you build a little fire and take your weight off your feet for a little bit as the mist is boiled away by the sun, except around these statues where the mist stays thick and cloying and refuses to budge. However, from the little fire, Van Heisu manages to brew a rather foul-smelling but invigorating potion. And if you drink it, all your tiredness and fatigue drains away from you, leaving you feeling as fresh as if you just had a couple of days lie-in.
Yep. I'll drink up.
Yep.
It's most likely the most foul-smelling thing you've ever made, with bits and bob and bat wing and cricket teeth.
Coca leaf. Little bit of PCP.
While I'm imbibing, I'm gonna sling the bow because I'm not really good with it. I'm just gonna go back to the spear and shield and start doing some chanting while they're drinking this concoction, banging the spear on the shield.
We have created this mystical drink. We call it Red Bull. Gives you wings.
Larusa, who has taken very seriously the injunction to mark the way with this charred stick, now hyperactively starts rushing around, marking everything in sight, pointing to these two huge statues, utterly unnecessarily. And she does it with this same intense, tongue sticking out intensity and concentration that she did all the other marks.
This way to cave. Come here. This way. No, over here. The future travelers will look and say, who the hell graffitied up this cave entrance?
Who desecrated the statues of our gods?
Drawing mustaches and shit on them.
It is fortunate that the only female character has the marking stick. Otherwise, everything would have a penis drawn on it.
Well, that's true. That is true. Actually, that was probably the most fun thing we ever did in Payday 2. is whenever they introduced the ability to plan your missions ahead of time and draw on the map. Yeah, that's the first thing I did was draw big dick across it.
TTD, time to dick drawing.
Yes.
So how do we get in this structure? I'm looking at Kurgan when I say that.
Pretty sure it's got an entrance like anything else. Just look for it.
I'll start poking it with the butt end of the spear, just kind of like.
Well, there's these two big ancient statues, slightly lent to the side, and between them is this narrow path leading up the mountains.
Yep. Just up the path.
Oh, my old age must be getting to me.
It's all right. It's all right. We're tired. We've been traveling a long time, and your potion is slowly kicking in. It's like caffeine. It doesn't hit immediately.
Rosvo will be taking the lead.
Okay. So Rosvo moves to the front, and you start making your way up the path.
I will take position to guard the guardian of the smoldering stick.
I will be with Rosvo.
With Rosvo on point. Yeah, this is barely a goat trail, so only Larusa is really comfortable on these trails, but Rosvo is brave and embracing his doom. So, can just Rosvo make a perception type roll, please? What traits do you have that would be applicable?
Let's see. Wilderness survival at 17, listen at 13, scout at 13.
That sounds enough.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, roll a d20.
2.
Okay, so that is...
Ordinarily, that would be horrible, but...
No, that's good.
Yep.
All right. Despite scouting ahead, unless you want to spend a hero point?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So yeah, you scout ahead, and it's weird. The mist is clinging to this path in weird ways and forming thicker parts here and there, almost like it's trying to trick you off the path. And it seems to be deadening the sound as well. And the way the wind moves through the mountains creates weird noises and echoes. It means you can't entirely rely on your senses. However, you get to an area where the path opens out a bit, and there's a little crackling electrical sprite that hops out from behind a boulder in front of you and just mimes, cocking a hand to its ear.
Is it dangerous?
Well, he's ahead of you, remember?
Yeah.
Hold up. Rosvar raises his hand.
Okay, you do hear him, but barely. The little sprite hops from one foot to another again and goes like that.
What is it you seek to hear?
Points at you.
Van Haisu. This is more your area.
Okay. Maybe wilderness survival to see if I've seen this creature before. I can't think I can justify anything else with that.
When you lay eyes upon it, You believe it to be the guardian spirit that was invoked earlier.
Okay. Ah, um, I think it might be a protective spirit. So as long as we don't offend it, we should be able to pass freely. The trick is knowing how to pass freely. Would I know this as part of some of the old Heartling customs or the history of it? To any like stories or riddles or poems from the culture to know how to pass such a guardian?
Do you got any appropriate skills?
Hortling. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Customs, Hortling, history.
Yeah. So what's your customs?
It's 17, and the history is also a 17.
Yeah. Anything else?
Since it
You did
involves
summon it, so
Yeah.
I'll give you a bonus for that.
Okay. Common magic to know of the scary sprites and such.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
I rolled a 9 on the d20.
Okay.
And whatever we're told, I will disseminate to the party.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it just wants you to listen? It keeps pointing at you all and then cupping where its ears would be if it had ears.
I will give my spear to Kurgan and tell everyone to wait a moment and strap my shield on the back and not prostrate, but try to, with etiquette, walk forward.
Okay, so you move slowly, showing you mean no harm, and crouch down close to it. Your beard starts to stand on end as you get close to it, and the very tips of the longer hairs get singed. And you can hear it humming and crackling now you're this close to it.
Yeah, I will stop, kind of take a step back so my nose hairs don't get trimmed any shorter.
It points at you and then ups where its ear would be.
I will mimic.
Okay. So, stopping a moment, listening intently, and with your hand cupped to your ear, despite your ear being old, you can hear the vague sound of raised voices from further up ahead, like two people are arguing.
I will look in that direction and trying to maintain my calm.
Through
demeanor.
the swirling mist, you can't see anything, but looking in that direction, concentrating, cupping your hand to your ear, yeah, you can hear argument and scuffling from up ahead. Its duty discharged, the little sprite gives you a bow and then disappears back up into the sky.
I will take the bell, make sure it doesn't ring, and then stow it away quickly. And then I will look to Kurgan and company and issue, with a finger pressed to my lips, shh, and usher them to join me as fast as possible, but silently.
Oh,
And then
I'll
when
take his
Kurgan
hint.
when you get there, Kurgan, I'm going to take my spear back and slowly tread up, carefully listening.
I figure
So
you'll tell
you-
me what it is later, so I'll follow your instructions on that.
Okay, so you're all going to move forward slowly and carefully, but with Van Heisu in the front now?
Yeah, my shield is out in front of me in like an old Viking fashion. The spear is above the shield, ready to stab.
A sweet smell. You start to smell on through, despite the dampness of the mist damping everything down. Like the sweetest, most moist and perfectly cooked honey cake you've ever smelled. So it's heavy with like lavender honey. So sweet smelling. And the mist clears slightly.
It normally smells really good.
I'll gesture with a fist real quick maintaining silence to stop, and then
Your
I want
your
to
stomachs grumble a bit.
I want to pull some type of smelling salts or poultice and like smear it right under my nose, and then pass this on and gesture to put this stank underneath your nose.
Here, wipe my stank.
You know what? I gotta play my character, unfortunately, and I'm too elitist and egotistical to do that. So I'll just, hold it like it's an irritated spider and just pass it on to the next person.
Say, would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel?
Not if it's been up your ass.
All right, but through the thinning mist and the sweet smell of honey, there's a little round clearing in the path, sort of covered in broken down shale and gravel. And over to one side is a little hut with some beehives outside it. The old conical shaped ones. On the other side is a little hut with a tiny little crofter's wheat field out the side of it, which incongruously is in like full harvest readiness. In the clearing, on a big flat stone, sits the juiciest, most perfectly shiny glazed honey cake you've ever seen in your life. And next to it, two Hjortling men, stripped to the waist, are beating 7 bales of shit out of each other. Just punching, slamming, wrestling. It's my cake!
I'm going to let Kurgan issue for Kurgan to take the lead on this one, because I have no idea, but I am wholeheartedly distrustful of this entire scenario.
Yeah.
And I will apply my old and stubbornness to that if I need to.
Okay. Wow. How is Kurgan going to handle this? So there's two guys just beating the crap out of each other over this beautiful honey cake that we all want now?
Well, those of you who wafted Van Heis's stank under your nose perhaps don't want it as much anymore.
Well, Larissa was put in a really awkward position here because, on the one hand, the son of her lord refused it, but Van Heisu recommended it. So she's trapped between deference and tradition. So she maybe just put a tiny smudge under her nose.
One nostril. That's a compromise.
Just a dab will do you, dear.
My cake. It's my fucking cake.
Is it possible to get past these guys without alerting them, or
They seem pretty intent on each other. It wouldn't be too difficult to pass around them.
We could probably bypass these two, but I feel like it's some sort of a challenge that we're supposed to best.
Just to be clear, is this unnaturally harvest time in this?
Yes, it's
glade?
unnaturally harvest time.
Okay.
And that cake is like the platonic ideal of honey cakes.
I don't know, my lord, but there seems to be befouling bewitchery afoot.
I agree, which is why I'm a little puzzled about what to do here.
Maybe you present yourself to tell them to shut the fuck up. And he'll kind of like nudge you a little bit with the spirit. Go on, youngster, you can do this.
All right. Yeah, I'll present myself and my boomy voice. You two, stop this at once. A couple of children.
Strangers. Maybe they can help decide.
Seems to be the problem.
Lordling, I'm Bolt, and this is my brother Fork. They both bow slightly to you. We made this, but we can't decide who should have it.
You can't decide who should have it.
I grew the wheat, took a whole year, and I ground it, and I sifted it, and I used my oven. And I provided the honey, without which it wouldn't be a honey cake at all. Your bees did all the work.
How do you two fools know each other?
We're brothers.
Well, then share.
But that's not fair. I put more work in. Couldn't have made it at all without me. I'll fucking have you.
This is a bit of nonsense. I'm just going to step back and just kind of be frumpy. Fucking nonsense.
All right. I got an idea.
So do I.
Rospo. All right. Rospo's gonna step to them. He's going to look at them grimly. That's in his personality, grim. Hi, grim. Quick to anger at 17, grim at 13, more scars than flesh at 13. Would I know anything in Heartland Customs about sharing little children's rhymes, maybe?
Just to make it more difficult, it's a potlatch culture.
It's Hjortlings. So they are a warrior farmer culture, but they have aspects of Viking stuff. So to an extent, there's the strongest gets the spoils, the headman gets the best. But also they're also a communitarian culture. So I don't know whether farming. So that's when you get property rights come in.
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sword and I'm going to slice the cake in half and say, share.
Or else.
Well, I could have done that, but I wasn't going to.
Well, yeah, let's see if you manage to intimidate them into place. And we'll say it's a sharing culture. Why not? Let's have something nice in the world. Okay, so what are you using as the basis for your intimidation?
More scars than flesh.
Which is at
13.
Yeah.
Heartland Custom 17.
Yep.
I just had it. Grim at 13.
Yeah.
And quick to anger at 17. And that is why I chose to immediately do this without thinking it through.
Okay. Okay, roll a d20.
12.
See, my lord, you're so great that others call themselves to action for you just by your mere presence, Kurgan.
Right. Thank you. Yes, nice to know that I could inspire others to acts of heroism and bravery. Although I wish next time he would have let me get the speech in first.
Okay, well, they glower at Rospo as he tries to intimidate them, but they do back away slightly, giving you room to lash out with your blade and cut the honey cake in twain. It slices neatly into perfect halves. The two look at each other, look at you, look at the cake. Well, I can have the other half tomorrow. Oh, you cunt. And they start laying into each other again.
Van Hasu is going to look to Kurgan and just kind of nod and then start walking slowly up to each of their brother and then try to get a glance at Rosovo and nod and kind of raise the butt of his spear to go to look like he's about to strike one of the brothers in the head like an idiot. And he's gonna just kind of like slowly kind of do this, like, if you two don't knock it off.
They sort of lock each other in headlocks and wrestle in circles for a while, but you're about ready to beat them, and they finally seem to gather their senses again and stop and straighten their head. Sorry, my lord.
I'm not the Lord. He's the Lord, the one with the blonde golden hair.
Yes, me. I am the Lord.
Well, Lordling, then, what's your judgment?
Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? You both worked
Well-
very hard to make this cake. Therefore, it is my judgment that you should divide it equally and enjoy it together. As it's already
but my
divided
lord,
for you.
But my lord,
Yes.
raising the grain took a whole year to grow it and tend it, to weed it, to keep the crows away, to reap it, to grind and sift it, to make the purest of most white flour, and he used my oven.
And would
And
you
it's
even
my
have a cake
time.
if he hadn't?
I would have bread at least. All I'm saying is he didn't put in half the effort that I
Well,
did.
you're not fighting over bread, though. This is a honey cake.
Well, yeah, but he does. At least he doesn't deserve a full half of it.
Nice things deserve to be compensated.
Can I just be clear? This was preternaturally delicious smelling and looking.
Yes.
Yes.
While all this discussion's going on, LaRousse is just going to go up and eat it, all of it.
Okay. It's pure chance. Okay, yeah, you sort of sidle up while everyone's arguing and debating and threatening each other and quietly eat the whole thing. You can have a hero point.
and she kind of groks straight away as soon as the last morsel slips down her gut. Realizes she's almost certainly done hopelessly the wrong thing, but under this sort of humour that she's sort of guiltily brushing the crumbs from her lips from the fine down gracing her upper lip.
Van Hasu
Okay.
didn't see this, so he's going to look over. Oh, they're gone. See, you fools wasted so much time that the gods decided to eat the bread.
Yeah, well, when you say that, so, well, look, maybe you could have a quarter of it, and then they look back at it, and it's gone. What? Who's had my cake?
Obviously, the gods came and took it from you. You did not deserve it because you were too busy fighting over it. Let that be a lesson to you next time. Sharing is caring.
Sullenly and sulking, they bow to you and then stomp back to their individual huts.
Hold on, before
Slam.
you go, youngsters, if you're going to have this fight again, you spending a whole year, why don't you teach your brother how to do the grain, while your other brother shows you how hard not to get stung by these damn bees? Then you can both understand why a half shares measure for equally sown deeds.
Yes,
Got it,
grandfather.
brothers.
And they stomp into their huts and slam the doors shut and sulk.
All right, my lord. Lead the way.
You're not sure if your eyes are playing tricks on you, but you could swear Larusa is about 10 pounds heavier than she was a minute ago.
That's a very good idea. Well done.
You've got some honey on your lip.
I'm going to whisper to Larasu, I think my lord has taken a kindness to you.
Oh, you go on, nudging him playfully in the ribs.
She does have good birthing hips.
Maybe puff out the girls a little bit.
All right. You carry on up the path, I presume, unless you want to do anything else here.
Nope. Just gotta keep moving. Important mission, important stuff. Oh, you are using that stick to mark everything, right?
Now of course she has actually. Since they passed the statues, she sort of took it that her mission was over. So she sort of, yes, and she goes and draws on the wall of their hut.
Yes. Good cakes here.
Good cakes here. Yes.
And
Right.
fools. Don't forget fools.
How are we doing for time? Oh, we still got quite a bit of time if we want. Right. Who's taking the lead? Up next.
Rosvo will take the lead unless anyone demands otherwise, but he's pretty persistent with that.
Oh, Kurgan's fine to let him take the lead. I mean, after all, something could hit him first.
Well, that's not glorious.
Well,
Now I'm second guessing it. He will continue to take the lead.
Okay.
yes,
So
you
I
go
need
first. Absorb any damage for me.
I need another scouting attention type roll from Rosford then.
All right. What did we use last time? Scouting 13.
Scouting.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen 13. Wilderness survival 17. Dragon Pass geography, or are we in a non? All right, 17. And agile? No, I think that's about it.
Okay, roll d20.
5.
So that's a success. Okay. Right. So with the others trailing a short distance behind you, you carry on up the narrow trail, up into the mountains. You're making your way around a part where the path really narrows off. When you pass by a stone span that crosses over to a different path on the other side. On that path, you can see a mountain goat stood very precariously on the edge of the path, leaning over it and looking down and making mournful and plaintive meh noises, to which are coming in reply higher-pitched, squeakier meh noises.
Oh, dear. So I'm guessing it's got young down there that can't get up to it, or?
Well, you'd have to cross over to really see what it's looking at, but that seems like a decent
Yeah, that's what
guess.
I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So once you're all caught up.
LaRussa,
My lord,
you're a goat herd, aren't you?
I am.
Can you tell me what's happening here? Use your goat herding skills.
Well, this being your thing, won't need to make you roll. That seems to be a mother goat in some distress because her kid seems to have fallen down somewhere.
Well, my lord, that goat there, that's the mummy goat. And she appears to be in some distress because she has lost her child. I do believe from the way that she is looking that it'll be found down that way, pointing to whatever crevasse or gully standing.
Yeah, fairly steep and sheer drop down, and then there's a tangle of bushes and thorns down there, from inside which the is coming.
But I had hopes, my lord, that I have now found my proper calling as a shield maiden, she says, waving her pointed stick, stroke spear.
Well, yes, for now. So we need to find a way to climb down there and get the goat's child back to its mother.
I think it might be proven useful to check the terrain to see if there's not any sliding rock, because I might be spry enough still to climb down.
I wouldn't want to risk you on this.
I wouldn't want to risk you or the lady, my lord. Me and the other old dog, well, we know what we are and what we can do.
The rock around here is as loose and crumbly as a hard cheese.
Why don't we have Rosvo do it? After all, he's very agile, and if he dies, he accomplishes his mission.
Not here. Besides, such a task wouldn't kill me. All right. Let's set up a rope first, just so everyone can tug, just in case.
Yep.
Wrap that around my waist.
And you can tie the knots because you have tie knots.
That's right.
And you're agile and you have climbing. That's why I picked you. See, I'm smart. Haha.
Okay.
I'll add in my climbing 13 on the ropes just to be his belay man from above.
Okay, so the ropes will give you +3. Do you have a climbing skill?
He does.
I do. A climb of 17.
Okay.
And he has agile 17.
Okay. Anything else appropriate, helpful, useful?
Yep.
So
tie
agile.
knots.
Agile, tie knots, climb.
What's your tie knot set?
17.
Okay. Sailor's knots to keep you intact.
Does the magical ability climb over hill and dale, is that only applied to me, or can I invest somebody else with that?
You could cast it on someone else.
Okay. Yep.
So
that.
Also
what's
have
the
something
rating? 2? 17?
17, yeah.
Okay, hang on.
You also have jump safely.
I was gonna
Neat.
say it's under magic. I'm not sure what that is. It like a Jedi like force jump?
It just means that you can jump down without hurting yourself.
Oh,
To one degree or another. So that's appropriate in case you fall.
all right.
So what's that? 17?
17. Yep.
You're perfect.
Anything else?
Are the warding tattoos against just magical harm or just any harm in general?
I can't remember what I decided when I did the sheets, so let me just have a look. So that might. Oh. Yeah, because that's super high, isn't it? I think that was against magic. Yes, it was against magic. Hostile magic, obviously. Good magic, not so much. All right. And I'll give you an extra bit of bonus for the other people holding on to the rope. So.
You did add in my climb of 13 to help him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, roll a d20.
All right. 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So that's a critical success for you. And I rolled a success for the difficulty of manhandling a baby goat out of thorns and up a cliff. And then you've got a level of mastery as well, turning it from a minor victory to a major victory. Okay. It's been a while since you've been at sea, but you still know the ropes. With everyone lashed together against the cliff crumbling, you hop down, even more sure-footed than a mountain goat, since one of them fell down here. Rummage around in the thorns and tangle and pull out the little kid goat, and holding it tightly under one arm, you easily climb back up and reunite the little goat with the mama goat.
See? Easy.
I knew I picked the right man for the job.
You can have a hero point.
All right.
And the kid immediately starts to suckle. That leaves you free to carry on upwards and onwards.
Well, shall we? I am really starting to feel like the gods were looking out for us by assigning us particular tasks and difficulties that we could manage. I feel very positive about this. Can I inspire everyone?
You can try to inspire everyone, certainly.
Okay, I shall.
So, how are you going about that?
I don't think I could use divine aid on this, but can I use charming?
Yep.
Okay,
So that's
so that's a 13.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use Lancor the Knowing?
No.
No.
More
Okay.
charismatic leadership, really.
Okay. So Worship Storm Pantheon
Yet.
or Myths. No?
Myths, yes.
Myths. Yeah. Okay. Myths at 17.
Okay.
Bullshit. Obviously, is a 13.
Yep.
I don't think protocol counts. This isn't really an authoritarian sort of thing, so I'm not exerting authority.
No.
So
You're not telling us to feel inspired, my lord. Sorry.
You be inspired.
You be
Yes,
inspired. Yes.
LaRusso actually takes that injunction seriously. Yes, my lord.
I don't suppose I could use brave or proud, could I?
Proud.
Okay, so that's one mastery.
Okay.
That helps.
All right. Roll d20.
Okay. Our rolls have been shit tonight, so let's see how we do. 4.
Okay.
Nice.
We just cross-reference. Right. All right. Yeah, you do all feel a bit heartened. It's hardly a mighty quest, splitting up two brothers who are arguing with each other and rescuing a baby goat. But all great legends have to start somewhere. Yes, it's nice enough. You've accomplished something, or in one case, gotten to eat a magical honey cake. So, yeah, you feel heartened and ready to move on.
Shall we?
Yes.
Taking point again?
Yep.
Okay. As Rosvo moves to take the lead again, you notice that he got something caught in the back of his armor or his leathers or whatever he's wearing while he was down rummaging around in the bushes. It's an arrow, but it's made in the old style, and it seems to be glowing with an inner light blue light.
Well, that's lucky.
Like the arrow hit me and I didn't feel it?
No, like it was tangled up in the bushes as well and just got caught up in your clothing when you were rescuing the goat.
May I see that?
Absolutely.
Common magic to attempt to make a identification, and I wouldn't mind assistance on this one, or do it communally.
I don't know if I have anything that can help you, but
I will commune with my ancestors.
Probably best to start with Hjortling history, actually.
Okay. I have a
Sure.
17 for Hortling history, 17 for common magic. I will also use the bones to see if they can help me lead to identify what's going on for the magic end as well. For the 7, that's a 17.
Yeah. Anyone else helping with anything?
Lancor the Knowing is a 17. Maybe that helps.
Yeah, you could pray for knowledge.
And I do actually have a knowledge of 17 as well.
Okay. Yep, that would apply here.
Okay.
And
Okay.
does this look like it was like made with a certain custom in mind? Like sometimes like they'll knock messages or carve messages into an object at all?
No, it just seems pretty plain.
Okay.
All right. So, can Van Hylu make a roll, please?
That is a 16.
Okay. Right. So the part of the mountain here is called the Arrow Mound because one of the thunder gods stood there and jammed his arrows into the ground before picking them out to shoot a great demon that was threatening the area. So presumably this is one of these lightning god arrows that was left behind after the battle. They are found occasionally when wandering in these mountains.
I believe it is a sign of our virtuous and noble path, my lord.
Yes, I knew it. This is our HeroQuest, sent to us by the gods themselves.
All right. Further up.
From here on out, everything that we encounter, we must consider to be part of the trial. Strive to
Further
solve
up.
all of them.
Further up, the mountain flattens out a little, and you get a taste of what your destination up here is supposed to be like. Though this is a smaller area, there's a small sort of alpine meadow in a dip in the mountains here, protected from the worst of the wind and the rain. There's all manner of mountain flowers growing in the field here, and there's a low sort of A-framed lodge house with smoke pouring out of its squat little chimney, turf roof, a couple of scraped out fields out front, and a series of barrels for catching water. A heavily pregnant young woman is trying to pull the plow manually through part of the fields.
Oh hell! I mean, I'll drop everything and run over to help.
Yeah, I will assist as well. Farming 17.
I don't have that good of a farming because I'm not a farmer. But
your strong, manly backs push to it.
I do have farming 17. Never mind.
Yeah,
I am a farmer.
But that's more theoretical knowledge, right? It's more the sort of Clarkson end of farming.
It's still farming 17. Okay, I mean, I probably know more about farming than Mao Zedong did. So,
but yeah. So you rush over, and gratefully she steps back from the plow. Oh, thank you.
Not at all. I am your lord. I'm here to help you.
You have no husband or other sons to help you with this?
Oh, it's just me and grandmother here.
But where is your husband?
He's not here.
Well, we can't have that. Rossvo, you will marry this widow.
She's gonna be widowed again pretty soon.
Yes, I know, but that's not the point.
My luck.
The door to that house opens up, and a round to the point almost of being spherical old woman sort of hobbles out, rocking from side to side. Big round apple cheeks, a big rough-looking nose that's reddened from drink, and she squints at you with rheumy eyes and smiles, and leaning heavily on a stick on one side, lifts up her hand and waves to you all.
Wave back.
Yeah, wave back.
Vahasu is going to get a little flustered and be like, oh, my me, what a scrumptious lass you are.
She probably doesn't even have all of her teeth anymore. Makes it special.
Charming. We don't get visitors that often. Why don't you come inside and let me play hostess? I've got some mead from the boys down the path.
Larusa could not bear the sight of Kiagan doing manual labor. It just, no. So she kind of, if he will let her, she will busily sort of fuss him off the plow yoke herself to it, and just begin relentlessly walking up and down this field.
Okay. Your donkey watches you, just like, well, I mean, it's not me. so, you know, that's good. I'll just quietly stand out for here, being as inintrusive and non-obvious as possible.
Okay, I will now list my personality traits. Okay, angry, traditional, dour, stubborn, thrifty, motherly. In none of them is the words common sense.
Yes, let's just ignore these perfectly good, ruminants that could have been pulling this plow.
Oh no, sir! Don't you trouble yourself. Let me do that.
She's this big, strong girl. You don't need no man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So grandmother waves you all in, apart from Larissa, obviously, who's busy. Come on in.
Yeah, why not?
You have to stoop a little. It's not designed with strapping, well-fed sons of chieftains in mind. This place hangs with all manner of herbs. There's a couple of plucked chickens hanging from the roof beams as well. There's a cauldron on the boil over the fire and a kettle next to it. There's a little turning spit in front of that as well. Every bit of space in here, it looks like it's put to use of one kind or another. You can squeeze in on a little wooden table.
Do you see, my lord? She's a woman after my own preferred girth and heart.
Perhaps you should marry her.
Well, not to be too hasty. Maybe a bit of fun first.
Mead, perhaps, or some tea.
Ah, mead sounds wonderful.
So I take it you're a herbalist, my dear lady.
Oh, well, one has to dabble in many things living alone up here.
Ooh, dabbling in how many things? He's going to be laying it on thick and then be like, I might have a bit of, and then he'll show you like an aphrodisiac. Like maybe
no.
a snail shell or like some like a juniper root or like a hornberry, something like that.
Her eyes twinkle with clear knowledge of exactly what it is you're saying.
Would you like to see my root? It's very thick and long, isn't it? And it tastes wonderful too.
Fine ingredients, master. Those will put a spring in your step. She winks. Here, mead for all. Oh, it honors me to provide such fine gentleman and lady with some hospitality. So, what are you doing up here? Questing for the law staff or something else?
We are clearing a path for the rest of our people. We've forced to leave our village and carry on to an ancestral place that has been chosen by our wise man. I am the prince.
Oh, prince, eh? Very nice. Yes. Prince of who?
Well, I'm the son of Chief
Hamanaba.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Didn't put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I knew his father.
I bet you did.
And his champion. Yeah, they came up here questing. So yeah, part of tradition. The fields that you're looking for, they're not far now, but they are guarded.
Oh, what's guarding them?
Used to be the brew, but there's something else up there now.
Ugh, the brew. Disgusting.
Does this thing bother you, my plump, scrumptious dear?
Oh my god. Tell me, my little honey tart.
She reaches out and caresses your wrinkled cheek. And says, a life well lived. No, so long as we don't go up there, he doesn't bother us. I don't suppose I could prevail upon you, my lord, for a little help.
Of course.
It's just me and the girl, you see, so... I see your compatriot is already ploughing, which would be one of the things I would ask you to do. The other problem I have is that there are rats in the barn. Just a couple. It wouldn't trouble you at all to get rid of them, would you? Only it's not long till winter, and I'd prefer to keep much of the product of our labour intact.
Upon my honor and my lord's leave, I will take care of this matter personally.
Yes, let us arm ourselves and go deal with these pests.
If you can clear out the barn, you're welcome to rest there before you make your final journey further up. Not you, of course, dear. I'm sure we can find room for you and your old bones in this hut.
I am in a state of moving.
Yeah, I think we're all headed that way now.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, outside, Larissa's ploughing, but the girl keeps kind of fretfully hovering around you while you're ploughing and making much better headway than she was. She seems very nervous and fretful.
Is something wrong?
Well, she's around Larissa.
So Larissa is going to be relentlessly upbeat about all of this. Looks across, sees some look of kind of consternation. Oh, never fret, my dear. 'Tis the work of but a few moments, she says, looking out over the vast, unplowed field in front of her. We shall soon have it done.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. She nervously looks back at where you started ploughing.
Make the sort of turn at the end of the row so that I'm facing back the way that where we started. But whatever is it that troubles you, dear?
Again, she glances there and then back to you and sort of twists and turns her hands around each other. As you double back, you could swear that part of where you just ploughed looks unploughed again.
The hell?
Oh, yeah. That is unaccountable. I don't know how I managed to miss that. Still, never mind. We shall pass it again. Have no fear.
Yeah. So by the time you get back up to that end and turn around, more of it seems to be unploughed. It's it's rather perplexing. But by this point, the gentlemen, the lazy gentlemen, have emerged again from the hut.
We're not lazy. She wouldn't let us.
Quick contextual sort of world building question. In this culture, is there the notion of kind of like fae who undo housework and farm work? I mean, that's a sort of European fae tradition, isn't it?
True.
Yeah. Not exactly fairies, more spirits and demons and things like that.
She will cast around for Van Heisu, seeing if they're emerging from the hut.
Yeah. He seems to be on a mission. They're heading towards the small barn.
As soon as they're called for me, I'm still kind of holding the drink of mead. I can do this one-handed. He looks over at the field. Now, I saw the field kind of getting plowed, and I know it should have been done a lot more, right? So I'm kind of looking at this as, what the hell's going on with you, Lahasu? I thought you You were a bit better than I thought. I thought you were better than... What's going on?
I don't rightly know, sir. That seems to me something not quite right hereabouts. Now, look, see, I went up and down here 3 times with that plough. So you see all that ground there that's unbroken. That should be well turned over by now. And yet, it is as you see it.
Damn.
The girl is looking more and more fretful, and she's started sort of picking at her skin with her fingernails.
Can we take a short pass real quick from the barn and take care of this first, my lord?
The barn, says the girl, and covers her mouth with her hands.
Very curious, my lord. Something's afoot. And his happy demeanor is getting like very frumpy.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us.
I'm gonna hastily walk over real quick and look at the young girl. What aren't you telling us, my dear?
I can't tell you. Grandmother will be upset.
It's all right. We'll figure it out on our own. Obviously, it's a test of some kind. Part of our hero's quest.
You can't tell us, or there's something stopping you.
I
am going to attempt my gesture to ward off magic.
Okay.
This is something I picked up on my travels, Van Haisu. Perhaps you can aid me with it if it...
Oh, yes, I have quite a few things to aid you with. Gesture to ward off magic 7. Oh.
So gesture to ward off magic 17. Then what's anybody got to add?
Gesture to ward off magic? Let's see. I mean,
anything
not charms, but
anything else warding and protective that would seem appropriate.
Common magic 17. I'm going to apply any herbalism of anything that I can burn to try to increase the power of the magic, like incense or oils or anointing. Hell, I even just dip my fingers in the mead and like sprinkle it.
I don't guess shield charm is going to help.
My tattoos are
for combat. But they protect you, so how are you going to protect her with them?
No, you're right. I just thought I'd ask it.
Yeah.
Clearly,
dogs can see supernatural powers, so that helps. Yeah.
I'm going to, if I may, contribute the personality trait motherly. Put my arm around her. If she's, two strangers are making kind of mystical gestures in her face. I'm not entirely sure how she'll react to this. So it's now stay calm, my dear. They're only trying to help.
What's your rating in that?
17.
Help. Yeah. Anything else? Nope.
That's all I got.
So I think Rospo was making the gesture first, so if you can roll.
And I will spend a hero point. 4.
That's a success. So let's have a look. Right. Player success. And the magic failed. So that's a minor victory. But the magic is powerful. So that's down 2. And you have a mastery, so that's back up 1. And then you spent a hero point, which bumps it up to a minor victory. Okay, so you make your warding gestures, say your oaths and curses under your breaths to unweave the magic as best you can. And momentarily, for but a moment, the girl's magical ban or whatever it is lifted. She says, "She's a wicked creature, grandmother. I haven't had this baby for for years, and it's not just a couple of rats in the barn; it's a whole bloody tribe of them. And no matter how much you plow, you can't get out. And you already accepted her hospitality, so you can't act against her without bringing a curse on yourselves. And then her mouth suddenly slams shut again.
Heartling history, Heartling customs. I want to make a knowledge check, and then common magic.
What are you checking for?
Is it some type of like a hag type of creature, or what kind of spirit would be able to bestow curses and such?
It's some kind. It could be a mountain witch, or a demon, or could be a hag of some description. But yeah, something wicked and magical. Probably a demon. They gather their power from being cruel, torturing and tricking people.
I'm going to tell this to Kurgan, our lord.
Yes.
We might be dealing with a witch or a hag or some spirit, but that's the story of my love life. Always thinking with the wrong head.
All those past wives you've buried for being witches.
All right. Well, perhaps if we do this task of killing the rats, the rest of this quest will open itself to us, because I feel as if we are being tested. As I said, this is a hero's quest, clearly.
I don't think
sent to us by the gods.
I don't think that will help us, my lord, because she's cursed by plowing and continual plowing and continual plowing, and the field never gets plowed, even though it gets plowed. So if we go and hunt the rats, there's just going to be more and more rats. Perhaps we need to deal with the source of the matter instead of the streams flowing from it.
This is not my fate, but I, as I unbutton my leathers, show that my various tattoos, these protect me. I believe I can strike her down.
And I will protect you, he says, Larusa, standing awkwardly too close to Kiergan.
I don't feel like there's anything heroic about striking down an old woman.
She's no woman. She's a witch.
To hell if I'm cursed, I will lay down my life for my lord. And then I would like to start charging forward towards the house, yelling for the old woman.
Oh,
and
dear.
Then she shows herself. I am going to use attack enemy spirit because I want her to reveal her true form with magic.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
I am old. I am stubborn. I am obsessed because I'm mad I got tricked from a scrumptious lady.
He's mostly mad because he's not getting any.
Damn right.
Bros before hoes, motherfuckers.
So the terrible bedside manner is coming out. So the disposition, if like the emotion is my magic is connected to my emotions, it would be fueling that fire. Obsessive is 17, terrible bedside manner is 17, common magics is 17. The attack the enemy spirit is a 17. See here what else. And I will be holding my drink while doing this for a 13.
Pretty, sir.
Just has some style.
Okay.
And can I aid with this by joining in the combat?
Well, you listed all that stuff off far too quickly for me to keep track of what the final score was. So can you go over it again, please?
Okay. For the disposition, obsessive 17, terrible bedside manner 17. The old and stubborn is 13. The common magic is 17. The attack enemy spirit is 17. And I think that's everything I listed, right?
I think so. Yeah. And then some of you were helping, I believe.
Yes, I'm going to
Yes.
join in. Brave 13. The warding tattoos, if they apply.
They will.
Three with a mastery.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my sword fighting, which is a 7 with a mastery.
Okay, so that's.
I
You're
did
pretty
forget.
good with the sword.
I did forget. I'm holding my drink while doing this. 13.
Yes. You have a 13 holding my drink score?
Yes. Holds his drink. 13. It's in the miscellaneous.
I think that means more about being resistant to drugs and things, but I'll allow it anyway. All right.
I have one
'Cause
more.
that amused me. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The character is probably too caught off guard to really provide any personal aid. However, the small useless dog will also join in for another 6. And yap. Yes, he can yap at 6 or bite at 6. So
All right. Is Larissa adding anything to this?
In as much as she is now taking her promotion from Plough Beast to Shield Maiden very seriously, she is going to be standing next to Kiergan, essentially as his shield mate, ready to stand in front of him, etc.
Okay.
So
What's your spear and shield?
17.
Okay. All right. So, right. Van Heise was leading the charge. So, can you roll a dice, please?
All right. That's a 1.
Okay.
Shit.
that's awesome.
Wow. It looked like a 7 for a second. I was like, oh, nope, that's a win.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what took me a moment before.
She rolled a 20, so I'm glad I didn't do this as an extended challenge because it would
Holy
be over
crap.
anyway. So that's the best possible dice result. Play a crit and resistance fumble. So that is a complete victory. And your masteries cancel each other out. Okay. So Van Heise comes charging into the place. Smashes the door open. The grandmother turns and looks at you in surprise. Oh, what's the trouble?
Reveal yourself, sheepies. Jaw!
And you hurl your magics at her with the others at your back, uttering their curses and oaths as well. The wave of magic blasts into her and rattles everything around her little hut. She seems to sort of get blown away, and in her stead is a squat, ugly creature, stripped of all pretense of being anything else. It recoils from the blast of magic, hissing, moving back on too many jointed arms and legs, back into the far corner of the place like a startled spider. I gave you hospitality, and this is how you treat me?
You gave us hospitality in the form of guise and guile and trickery. That is no such hospitality at all. That is why the gods shine upon us, old lady. That is why the gods... And he's just going to start cussing and incoherent because he's so mad.
My son will avenge me, she says, and then disappears in a puff of black and green greasy smoke.
Oh dear. I've heard this before.
Van Heise is cursed at a rating of 13.
Cursed at 13. Okay.
Yeah. As a bad guest. Not that it will come up in the rest of the game. But with the magic dissipated, the hut reveals itself, where you saw bunches of flowers and herbs, see weeds and poisons, where there were knickknacks and corn dollies and things. There are now bear traps and other horrible nastiness. There are suspicious-looking bloodstains on many of the surfaces. Outside, it is still a meadow, but where the meadow is close to the hut, it's rotten and mildewed. The barn is absolutely heaving with rats that you couldn't see before, but looking at it now, you can see them scurrying and moving through every hole and gap. The girl faints dead away in the field, close to the plough.
Run over there and pick her up.
Well, you dash over there, and she's not fainted. She's just keeled over in pain because she appears to be in labour.
Oh dear. Van Heisu!
That might be the witch's son. Be careful, my lord. And I will grab my spear and shield and start slow running.
Yeah. All right. So you cluster around the poor girl. Yeah, she's definitely in labour. Her water's broke.
Oh boy.
Medicine check or whatever, but still very guarded at what's going to come out of her.
Okay. So if you want to tend to her, that'll be another roll.
Okay. I first aid. It's a mastery with a 9, +9, and then make medicine is 1 on a mastery as well.
Okay.
And that is a roll of 10 on the die.
Has anyone else got anything to help with? Hot water and towels.
LaRouche's only analogy is, goat births, but, it's all the same orifice.
Yeah. He's got to reach in, grab it by the hooves and pull.
Yep.
Exactly. Have a rope handy, to tie its ankles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends entirely. I mean, tend farm animals? Question mark.
Yeah.
Maybe as a 13 rather than a 17 for differences in anatomy.
Yeah. Motherly would help.
Yeah. Let's have a look. I think that's probably it. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Yep. So, so 2 17s or a 17 and a 13, whatever you're going to drop it to.
Can Kurgan or Rosfo do anything to help?
I've got knowledge 17.
Rosfo can stay out of the way. I think that's his best bet because I don't think she wants a looming raider over her while she's giving birth.
Push!
Push!
All right.
Let me hear your war cry!
So push, you son of a whore!
Can Van Heisu roll then, please?
Okay, you want me to roll again?
Yep.
Because okay. That is 5.
It's a success. Okay. The birth is quite quick, but there is a lot of blood. And by the time that the child is fully birthed, the young woman is very still and her lips are blue.
Shit.
The babe begins to cry.
Nothing to feed this child with.
Well, you know where there's a mother goat where you can get some milk.
Yeah, guess we have to do that.
Why would you want to feed it? That's clearly the result of witchcraft and demonology. I say we expose the child. Have done with it.
To what?
The elements.
As in, yes, as in, leave it outside to die.
Why?
You would bring this child up, would you, sir, my lord? This child of witchcraft?
It's only a witch if I say it's a witch.
My lord, I yield to no one in my estimation of your authority and powers, but I dare say that they don't quite extend to matters such as this.
It's not heroic to kill a child.
We won't kill it, sir. We just won't let it live.
It's not heroic to expose a child to the elements and let it die. It's more heroic to raise a child and raise it in the right way. It's the harder thing, but it is the thing that heroes must do.
Well, LaRousse is going to look to support to Van Heisu.
Van Heisu's kind of, you see tears streaming out of his eyes because it seems like the mother was lost, and he's more in that moment than he is noticing what's going on around him. If you nudge him, he'll look up and cast the bones for the fate of the wee one. Perhaps the Lord is right and we are mistaken. There was foul trickery afoot earlier.
Okay. Just roll straight on your bone casting.
Four.
Okay. According to the bones, they form the rune of hope.
It seems the gods are in line with our Lord. There is hope. And then he's going to go back to kind of mourning the poor girl that just died.
We should bury her.
We should. LaRussa, I count on you to get the goat's milk.
The gods have spoken, my lord. Of course.
Right. So, yeah, the rest of you can dig a grave. LaRussa can go and find the mother goat and get some milk for the babe, which soon calms down and gets quiet, but someone's going to have to carry it. Yeah, you bury the woman's body, say a few prayers. You can all have a hero point for that. And then there's just the one last step to go, where the old woman said there was a great beast, but she also mentioned her son.
Oh, press on.
Do you think the beast and her son are one and the same? Some kind of hag spawn.
It seems likely. That's what I thought at least.
Oh, who is carrying the baby, by the way?
I'll carry it if nobody else will.
Give it some mead. That'll keep it quiet.
Yep.
Can't give a baby booze.
With the gear that we have, is there any way we could make like a makeshift kind of cradle to strap on the ass that's with us?
Yeah, you could swaddle the baby and make some sort of ass-bound papoose.
If Larissa doesn't mind if her donkey would carry the young infant.
No. It's what he's here for.
Okay, so this will be the final encounter, and we will attempt to use the extended contest rules, which I'm less sure of. But then we shall. Okay. The path's much broader here, so you don't have to move up single file. You're able to ascend next to each other for the most part. The child remains quiet, apart from the occasional coo and goo sound to let you know it's still alive. You've got the milk in some thoroughly cleaned out bottles from the witch's hut. When you reach the top, it's not the very top of the mountain. It's another sort of alpine meadow type area surrounded almost by like a caldera. It's almost like a crater with a meadow in the middle of it. So there are jagged rocks all the way around the outside, and then this massive swathe of greenery and mountain flowers. And in the very center of this area is another stone statue, much like the ones at the bottom, but this one carved in the shape of a goat. And so as you crest the top of the path and look down over this place, so breathing a little heavily because the air's gotten quite thin, a gigantic shape emerges from behind the stone statue, at least as tall as the statue itself. A great giant with two faces molded together, almost like they're candle wax that's melted into each other. It's huge, naked. Its arms and legs look a bit like the crones in that they seem to have too many joints and bend and fold unnaturally. And in one of its enormous hands, it holds the rotten trunk of a tree with all kinds of outgrowths of mushrooms and scurrying insects moving about all over it. It stares at you with 4 malevolent eyes.
Kind of guess that's her son. This thing is obviously way too powerful to take on head on.
I believe volleys would be most appropriate, my lord.
It reaches down and wrenches a huge boulder out of the ground, ripping up turf and sending wildflowers in all directions. Okay.
It seems to have that covered too.
Combating these things, right? So the way extended challenges work is you have a pool of points that you basically bet from turn to turn. So your pool of points is based on what kind of thing you're doing for your first action in combat. So how do you plan to tackle it, Kiergan?
Well, it's picking up a rock, so I figure it's probably going to throw. So I'm going to try to charge it with a spear, get in close to where it can't use it as effectively.
What's your spear and shield fighting skill?
Spear and shield is 17.
You have and you've got a spear.
Yeah, I picked up one in the
and
village.
Shield. Yeah. Have you got any other skills or capabilities that you can throw into combat?
Brave.
Yep. So what's that rated at?
1 mastery.
Okay. Yep.
I do have shields at 17. I don't know if it'll help so much, but might.
Yep, that'll help a bit.
Guess I could call on divine aid for this. So.
Yeah.
We've got a sacrifice on the back of the donkey.
No.
Okay, so divine aid's what? 17.
1 mastery.
1 mastery.
It's plus 2.
Yeah.
As good as it's going to get, I think.
Okay, so that gives you a pool of 27 points.
Ooh.
Okay, Rosvo, what's your plan to attack?
All right. Rosvo is going to draw his dagger and sword and charge, and he is going to use agile, sword fighting.
Okay, what's the values?
Oh, right. Agile 17.
Yeah.
Sword fighting 7 mastery.
Okay,
Climb,
so
because he is going to attempt to climb up this beast and get at the head. 17.
Playing Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah. And Doom and Destiny at 13 because he believes this is the moment.
Okay. All done?
Yep.
Okay, so you've got 27 as well, as it turns out. So
Brave at 13.
Okay. 28 points. Okay. What's Larissa doing?
Oh, he loved the smell of napalm in the morning. She is
Smells like
going.
victory, innit?
She, as far as she is concerned, this is her moment. This is the entire universe has conspired to bring this moment about for her. So she is going to rush in next to Kiergan, spear, rather shitty spear in hand. So spear and shield 17. Angry 17, and I think the spear is probably inferior, so only a +1.
One, yeah. Anything else you can throw in?
That's it, I think.
Okay. That's 21 for you. And then Van Hylu.
So I have a quick question. So are we describing what we're going to do for a whole entire action, or is it going to be like, could we do like technically multiple actions?
So it's describing what you're doing for this action, but this will happen over several turns. So this determines your pool that will last throughout the combat, but also what you're doing for the first turn.
Okay. So on the first turn, I'm going to put my spear in my shield hand, pull out my dagger, and cast light on my dagger, and then begin to rush in. Midway when I rush in, I'm going to throw the dagger at this creature's head to try to use the light to temporarily blind it, then grab my spear from my shield hand, form up with my lord, and just strike at the nuts. Just go right, go right for the nuts.
Okay, so so what skill do you want to start with?
So for the magic bit first, is common magic is 17, light is 17. The dagger would give me a +1, and I have knife combat of 13. The spear and shield is 17 combination.
Yeah.
And then since I am I'm when the heat, in the midst of battle or in the midst of surgery or precarious things, I'm usually calm. So I'll be calm, cool, collected to keep my wits about me in a fight. That's what kept me so long-lived. So that's a 17. And I'll begin to be obsessive about destroying this most wretched beast that is the son of the witch that befouled me.
Yeah. Okay.
You also get a +1 bonus for the shield, tool bonus for the shield, I believe.
Yeah.
And the spear is an actual, my old spear. So I think that's a +3 is what it said.
Yeah. Okay. So now I know what everyone's pulls are and what their first actions are. Right. You have to make bids.
What was my pull point?
Your pool was 32.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Extended contests, bids. It's got suggested values for bids, but you can bid up to all your points if you want. But that's just a terrible, terrible idea. Consequences.
That was a funny thing. Do trees have nuts? Trees do have nuts.
Okay. So an inconsequential bid is just a couple of points. So that's very minor actions towards the combat. Cautious actions are up to 5. Normal engagements is up to half of your action point total. A major effort is over half, and a reckless effort is all your points. So you're basically making a bid for how many successes or how much of a success you're going to get. So how much do you want to bid? The giant is going to lash out with his tree trunk and try to crush Kiergan.
Oh dear.
So what does Kiergan want to do? Well, how much are you bidding? You already said what you were doing for your attack, but
Okay. So a 10-point bid might be that's like subtracting a 10 basically from its difficulty, and
It will
after
depend
rolling
how well you succeed. But
Okay.
a 10 is a good sort of bid for a standard sort of attack, which is kind of what you were describing.
Okay.
Okay, so
'Cause
bid
I
10.
still have 17 in reserve, so
What's Rosvo bidding?
I have a pool of 27, so I'll start out with 10 as well, and can I throw a hero point into this?
Save that for when you do your attack.
All right.
Remember, you can spend multiple hero points. How much is Larissa bidding?
How much do you think? Let's take
All
a
of it?
wild guess. Yeah, there you go.
And Van Hylu, probably at least half your points, so 15 or 16 points at least.
I was thinking the same thing, so 16.
Okay. And the amount you bid also determines the initiative order, conveniently. Where it gets complicated for a story game. Right, so the giant bid half of its points, which is 30, so it gets to strike first. It is... let's see, tree fighting is 8W, so that's 28. It is strong. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the tree trunk gives it +5. Right, so it's swinging down at Kjörgen. How is Kjörgen defending himself?
I don't think a shield is going to block that, but I'm going to
Might
have
help.
to do that. Yeah,
So it's
I don't.
spear and shield fighting plus shield.
Yeah, because I don't have agile, so
Yeah, you got anything else you can add to defend yourself?
well, the gear itself has a +3 for the shield,
Yeah.
so there's that. I do have shield charm 13.
Yep, you can throw that in.
Okay.
Okay, roll a d20.
Okay. 18.
Okay, but you do have a mastery, so that helps somewhat. And you can spend hero points, remember.
So what is a hero point
Okay.
worth?
It bumps the result by 1. Okay, so it got a success, and you got a failure, but you get to bump it up 1 from your mastery, which takes it to marginal. Then it gets to bump it down 1 for its mastery. So at the moment, you're a minor defeat.
If I blow a hero point, it converts it into a what?
If you blow a hero point, it'll turn it into a marginal success or a tie.
I'll do that. I'll take a tie.
Okay, so it's tied.
So I'm down to 4 hero points now.
Yeah. And you got the highest roll. Hang on a sec. This doesn't make much sense. Okay, the higher, the worse. Okay, so that means you lose 15 points, which go onto the giant. You're alive and otherwise untouched. you're down to 12 action points. Right, the huge girt log comes hurtling down and smashes into the ground next to you. You manage to get out of the way of most of it, but so many stones and things are thrown up by the impact that you're sort of pebble dashed with dirt, and a few cuts are opened up on your face.
Okay. Going to use my remaining 12, split into 2 attacks of 6.
We need to finish everyone else's turns.
Oh, gotcha.
Shiv order. Okay, so LaRusso was doing an all-out screaming ab-dab attack.
Yep.
Right. So it defending itself. So your total was 21 for your attack so far, but it is large, making it an easy target. So that adds 6 to your ability to hit it. And that'll be all. Okay, roll Z20.
Okay, I rolled a 4.
Okay, so that's a success with a bump. I need to figure out its defense. Large doesn't help it.
I don't know whether you need to know this before or after you figure the defense, but I'm going to spend 3 hero points for a 2 bump, plus 2 to results.
Yeah. That's tough and has tough skin. And it rolled a 20. So critical failure. Okay, so opponent's roll. Fumble. Your roll was a success. Okay. Now it does... So it does 1 better for its boost. You get 1 boost anyway. And another 2. Okay, so that means you do 84 damage to its points. So that's minus 9. This bit needs simplifying. Consequences. Okay, so it is hurt. Okay, so yeah, after the log slams into the ground next to Kjörgen, you dart forward, and were you going for the nards as well?
Whatever I could reach.
Okay, so you stab it repeatedly on its inner thighs, where it starts to rapidly bleed out. So then it's Van Hylu's turn.
Does Asu get points for that, for winning the bid, or no?
Larissa got, like 84 points, taking her to 105.
Oh, dear gods. Okay. All right.
Right. And your effort, you were doing the blinding dagger attack, weren't you?
The blinding dagger, and then finishing up with the charging spear to the nards.
Yes. Right, can you roll a d20, please?
Yeah. Uh-oh. That's a 19.
Okay, so that's a failure. It's bumped up to... which gets bumped up to success. You can still spend hero points, remember.
I will spend a hero point.
It succeeded. Which gets bumped up. And then you spent. But you rolled really high, didn't you?
I rolled a 19, yeah.
Okay, so you lose half your bid. So you lose 8 points. Okay, so the dagger glances off the side of one of its heads, but you do manage to stab it, not in the nads, but in the side. But the way it's wrenching around, you get sort of dragged through the dirt while holding desperately onto your spear. Right, Kjörgen.
Okay. I'd like to split my remaining 12 dice in the dice pool into 2 attacks of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Kjörgen's just going
do
to
that.
stab it twice. We're actually probably going to drop the spear and go for the sword, just because sword fighting is really where Kjörgen is strongest. So,
Okay. Roll a d20.
okay. Single d20 is 2.
Okay, that's really good. So that's a success with a bump. He succeeded. The bump. So the bumps cancel each other out. Did you say you're spending a hero point?
Yeah, I better.
Okay.
No reason not to go all out.
Okay. So it loses another 10, taking it to minus 19. You gain 10, taking you to 22. So it is now impaired, which means it loses 10% of its rolls. Okay.
Good.
And lastly, Rosvo.
All right. So just make a roll.
Yeah, because we already know what you were doing. It botched.
I got 12.
Okay, which is a
Oh.
failure, but it botched. So you got a failure, it botched.
And I was gonna pump hero point into that.
Okay. Which makes... So it loses double what you bid, which was 10. So it takes another 20 damage, taking it to minus 39, which is dying. Okay, that did end up working and making sense in the end. I think I just need more practice. So what was your attack? You were just charging in.
Just climbing up its back to get its head. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so while it's engaged with the others, and it drags back its log, ready for another smash, and Van Heise is sort of twisted around on the end of the spear, which is stuck in its torso. Larusa is darting in and stabbing it. Kjörgen's abandoned his spear and is lashing at it with his sword while his dog runs around in circles, yapping. You take advantage of all this distraction to get around behind it, scale the top of the carved stone goat, and hurl yourself onto the giant's back. Well, use your dagger to climb, get your way up to the top of it, and then drive your blade through the back of its neck, severing
from
its
hell's
spine.
heart. I stab at thee.
And you ride the dying, bellowing creature down into the dirt with a loud thump. And everyone gets another hero point. You have bested the mountain. You have ascended the arrow mound to the top of the mountain. You've outwitted the hag in her den. You rescued the goat cub, not the goat cub, goat kid, and the child named Hope.
My lord, there's one more thing to do, my lord. And I will start bringing out the clammy clay pots. And by using the creature, hacking it up to bits, I will make a sacrament to the gods and sanctify the area.
Indeed.
Thunder rumbles approvingly. And slowly up the trail, a day after, comes the tribe seeking safety in the hills and mountains where they often have. And Kiergan has proved himself a worthy son. And so ends our tale. So that was HeroQuest. I like the way the normal challenges work with throwing everything in because it kind of encourages roleplay and bringing in unusual aspects of your characters. The extended challenges were a bit of a headache, but I think I could get used to them in time. What did you guys think?
I confess I have no idea what was going on in that final fight.
No,
Yeah,
basically you make bids, and then according to the difference in roles that we were doing before to determine success, points get transferred or lost or taken away. Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So did I hear you right that if it had gone to a second round, I would have had an action budget, as it were, of 105? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because you did really well.
That's pretty swingy.
Well, it's not normally that swingy because if you risk everything, you stand the risk of losing everything, and nothing ventured, nothing gained. But the points are meant to be fairly abstract about position and maneuvering and advantage, and
But yeah, the simple resolution mechanic I thought was really good. I think you're right. As long as you've got a long list of things and you're able to kind of scan them up and down and sort of work a way to using them, I think it works really well.
The more you play, it seems like the more intuitive it gets because you go like, all right, I got climbing, fighting, dump all that in.
I think it's more difficult with pre-generated characters because you haven't made them up yourself, so you don't know what the traits are. And I think it would be a lot easier to remember which traits applied if you'd made your own characters.
I kind of understand why they did it the way they did it, but it's almost kind of backwards ass intuitive about the way that the characters are laid out with the 17s and everything on the stats and the 13s. Because it's kind of hard to figure out what the numbers actually mean. I think it might have been a little easier to figure out if they had just stuck with more simplified math, like, +1, +2, +3. And
so it's for every. So you start with your base skill, so maybe 17,
right?
And then the other skills that you can add in to help is basically 1/10 rounded up from a half or rounded down otherwise. So I could have done /+2 on the sheets, but I thought that might be a bit confusing.
Yeah,
but I think that would be something to add in.
Yeah, that would have made life a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But other than that, I do kind of like how it makes all of your little traits, no matter how seemingly insignificant, kind of play into it. Drink, because it reminds me of Scarlet Heroes a little bit in the trait system.
Yeah, a little bit. And literally anything can be a trait on this. So you could have a sword that is both a trait and a tool. Yeah. So you could have like a +3 rune sword that can cut anything, rating 17 as well. So then you would get your normal bonus from the sword and the sword's bonus, and anything specific about it would apply contextually to the situation. So.
I actually like the way that you explained it because I've been trying to read this like on and off for a little over a week because I'm not used to a system like this, and I'm like, this is so arbitrary. What the hell does what mean? Like, I feel like Bill Clinton's argument all over again, you know. And I'm used to like, you know, I went dice crunchy mathematics, you know, give me like at least a number stat, and it played pretty smoothly and stuff like that. Yeah, getting a bit more knowledge base with the things. This seems I loved it. I actually had a pretty good time with it. It reminded me of Exalted a little bit, and
Yeah, that comparison's been made before, I think. Yeah, I'm not a Glorantha scholar, so I'm sure any people who are heavily into Glorantha watching this back will scream and tear out their hair. But I did my best.
I'm not a Glorantha scholar, but I played enough RuneQuest to know a lot of the lore behind some of the critters and stuff in it, and how the fact that the gods are so important because it's such a mythology-based game and a mythology-based world. And the difference between this and RuneQuest is kind of like RuneQuest is kind of a little bit more mechanical and straightforward in its adventuring and stuff. It's also a lot more gritty.
Yeah.
This really does seem to push more of the heroic edge. And it doesn't seem to punish you as harshly if you mess up something. Because, you know, in RuneQuest, you know, if you take a shot, not only do you take the damage, but you also have your hit points divided up into hit locations, which means that you know, you can have a hit location eliminated. We had a GM that frequently liked to roll grow-in hits for some reason.
I like the BRP version of RuneQuest for running like historical games, but for mythological games, I find it a bit too deadly.
That's kind of exactly how I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's bedtime. Next time it's my turn. We will be running Earth Dawn.
Well, so. I was gonna pitch something since I've got most of my players here, or at least a couple of my players here. How do we feel about running a one-off Godbound? Because it might be a while before we actually get to it.
I'd play it. Yeah, I've been curious.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that next week, or do we want to give it a couple weeks to learn the system? Or I mean, it's very easy for me. So
say yes, and then get hold of Simon and see if his internet's better.
Yeah. Okay. And Ghoul.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you doing pre-gens or?
No, I never do pre-gens. I like to let people build their stuff, but the way I'm going to do this one, I'll ask you some questions up ahead of time to figure out what your stuff is, because I don't want to tell you what you have, and I don't necessarily want to let you pick it either, because it's a case of this is one of those games where when you play it, you'll understand why it's more fun if you don't pick your stuff. Because when you pick your stuff, you're way overpowered because everybody goes for I'm the bestest with the mostest. For example, I had somebody who I gave them the word of fertility, and at first they didn't like it, but it started to get kind of useful here and there. You'll see.
All right. Cool. All right. Bedtime. So,
all right.
See you all next time. Next week is T-shirts game, which might be Godbound or might be Darwin's World.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it, playing with you guys.
No problem.
You're welcome. Anytime. If anyone out there wants to join us playing anytime, let me know. There should be links to Discord and stuff either here or on my main channel, Postmortem Video, or hit me up on Twitter, Grimasaur. Night all.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Good night.